Here with Colin, me, Colin from the Attack Action Podcast. I'm joined by with how do I I'm joined with
I
by
can be with you or
you
by
can
you,
be with and by me at the
whatever
same
you
time.
prefer.
Sam O'Byrne. And you know what? This is a time for me to ask some questions that I don't have answers to, but we're just going to talk
We're
about
gonna
it.
we're gonna pond.
Yeah, we're going to ponder because, I've got the face that looks like I'm thinking about something when I'm really just, wondering what's for dinner or how much more Kano I can fit into my schedule. So let's dive into it. I think we got a couple of topics today that I think are somewhat relevant and interesting to talk about. So yeah, we're talking about the calls for bans, and maybe when I came up with this topic, it was like, well, maybe people should stop calling for bans. But after seeing some Azalea stuff today, maybe they're right. But you know what? I don't know. Here's my thought.
Tell me.
This is what we're pondering on.
Okay.
Should we just cool it on this like calling for bans like 2 weeks after a set comes out? We're in a new meta, and the first thing people do is see a hero do really well, and then they call to ban a bunch of cards. And my reaction is, well, why don't you just adjust how you're playing against this hero first, and then come back with a ban idea later? So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I guess. Well, this is. I'm but the guest on your talk show here. So.
I'm asking the questions. So.
Oh man. Well, can I will respond to your question with the question. What do you think constitutes a ban in Flesh and Blood? When do you look at something and you think to yourself that needs a ban?
I think when there's like a proven track record over a period of time that shows that something is like absolutely busted, or if you can point to the card directly and say why it violates the core tenets of the game.
Sure.
We saw this with like Awakening. It basically encouraged you not to block and then do something completely insane that you gain nothing but value from. So that was like clear,
Sure.
Dustblade. Just busted.
We didn't even get a chance on that one.
Anybody who did try to take a chance was like, "Yep, this is busted." So things like that make a lot of sense. Starvo probably should have been banned. I'm going to say that. That's okay. I can say whatever I want.
This is your show.
This is my show.
This is just we just created this just for you to get your willies out.
And I think in the past, LSS has been really great about looking at the meta and banning certain things. They suspend cards where they think they need to be suspended. They ban them outright when they think they're broken. And they've been very kind of transparent on the reasons why, and I think that's all really great. They've also been transparent on the fact that they will use this suspension and banning to manipulate the meta because they want to, which you can feel about that any way you want. I just realized we got this mushroom up here that's kind of funny, but that's okay.
That's our next segment.
That's our next segment. What is this mushroom?
What is that mushroom?
But yeah, it's so, I think there are clear points where that comes into play. And I'm not against banning things.
Mm-hmm.
I just think when, we have one big event or like two big events and one hero does really well at that event and people's immediate reaction is like, well, this is too good, this is bad. And you're just like, just let Azalea have some fun, man. She's been like just under the rock for, for a couple of years.
Yep.
And all the diehards who've been playing her ever since she came out finally get a chance to like have some fun. And the first thing everything people do is call for a bunch of bans. I don't even keep track of how many bans they want, but it's Codex of Frailty. It's whatever. I mean, I guess Codex is probably the only one that I would consider we might see a ban in the future, but I don't think it really needs to be worried. Like right now, like let it play. Like,
it seems like it's from what I'm understanding, for you, it's about length of time with the thing. See how the thing actually develops. If Azalea is unbeatable for 2-3 months, at that point, data is clear. But we're still in the period of time where we're gathering the data and we're seeing how the cards really play, seeing if there is counterplay to something like Azalea. Codex is hard to play around. There are small ways you can, but in terms of just the hero itself, Lexi, Azalea, if these cards are pushing it too far over an extended period of time, that's when you'd want to see something change.
Yeah, and I think that has been the way they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like the reaction people have to a hero doing well is to just call for bans.
Yeah.
And I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I think, I'm also, not someone who's chasing the meta. I don't switch up my hero to play the most important, best deck in the meta at any given point. So I'm probably in the minority for a lot of people where it's just like, well, I'm going to play what I want to play. and I have to adjust that to be as good as I can into this meta. And sometimes it's not your meta to shine if you do that, and that's okay. And it can be frustrating, but I don't know. It's just I just don't see how your first response isn't, well, how do we beat this? That should be the first response, especially if you're considering yourself a competitive player. I'm calling all of y'all out. So if that is your
Where's your
concern-
fire?
Yeah, like that should be your cue to like go into the lab and deck build and try to find a counter to it. And if you can't find a counter to it, you're probably supposed to be playing that deck. So figure it out, and that's easier said than done. That's why I'm not one to do it, because I'm not the
Yeah, everybody,
deck
you
builder,
deck
but-
build, not me, but you do it.
do it for the rest of us. I mean, that's how
That's
most
true.
of this works.
That's
A
true.
couple people build some decks, and the rest of us just profit. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
you.
for your
Good.
service. But at the same time, I think the first reaction it just seems like kind of just overblown, and I don't know. Twitter again. Also, another thing, side comment: Twitter's not the place really for coherent discussions about stuff. So
What?
I'd rather
Really?
you have those conversations, in person and on maybe a podcast or a YouTube channel. So if you have a lot of opinions that you think are relevant that you need to share, it's real easy. Just go out there and just do it for the rest of your life. Spend a bunch of time and money to make that. But yeah.
Easy enough.
Easy enough.
If you have things you want to talk about, don't go on Twitter. Start a podcast. God knows we don't have enough of those in Flesh and Blood.
You know what we don't have enough of?
Podcasts.
Is like low stakes, happy, fun podcasts where we just have a good time. Everybody's so competitive.
Ugh.
But that's fine. You do your thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. I don't have much else to say. I think it's just silly that people want to ban things immediately. And if
You
you,
want to let it marinate.
if you disagree,
Get to start a podcast.
don't at me. Start your own podcast.
I don't want to hear about it.
All right. So next up, I think we got something else I've been thinking about. Is staying open in Outsiders draft. How much draft have you done so far?
I have done like 6 or 7 drafts. I
Okay,
wanna
it's
say.
pretty good. I think I'm at like 4 or 5. And I was just thinking about this, and I've heard some other people talk about it. I think the general feeling I get is a lot of people are excited about this draft format. It seems really fun and interesting. I think the gameplay is really interesting. There's definitely more of a mid-rangey feel, and as Isaac Jessen from the Attack Action Podcast likes to say, incremental exchanges of damage. And you block, you do a little bit of damage, you pitch stack, you do all these things that are like really good core fundamentals of
Super fun.
Fab, which I think is great. Question being, can you actually stay open? We got a ton of generics. It's the first talentless set we've had in a while, a draftable set. And usually in that case, it means you can stay pretty open. I think the last couple metas, that has not really been the case. You've been incentivized to either go, first it was hard into Briar, and then Oldhim showed dominance, and then in Uprising, Phi, just Phi. It's like be good at the Phi mirror, and then you're good at Uprising draft. So, my question kind of is staying open real in Outsiders? One, couple factors here. One, the generics aren't equally good for all the heroes. Some of the heroes might kind of be a non-factor. Not making a totally bold statement, but it seems like Benji. I mean, Ninja in general seems harder to get together a really good deck that does what it wants to do, and then I am not sure about the rest, but so generics not always as good. So just taking generics to stay open doesn't quite get you the cards you need to do well in a draft. And then there's so many assassin cards because of all the hybrid cards that it's kind of like you should probably be an assassin. It seems so. But I don't know. What's been your experience? I feel like so far I try to stay open and I kind of just get punished because I didn't pivot into a hero much earlier in the draft.
Yeah. For me, I've had a fair amount of success not being fully open, but being open and a half, where I'm kind of between 2 heroes You know, often assassin and something else. There
Hmm.
one draft I was over either going to be a ranger or a ninja, but because of the hybrid cards, I'll feel like I'm in between things. And I try to take a lot of generics kind of into pack too. I feel like
Hmm.
the you know, rabbles don't work well necessarily in something like a Benji unless, you know, the it's
The
just for
blue
two.
one.
Yeah. But, you know, I really like just like red Seek Horizon at the end of the chain. I found looking for a scrap to just be like ridiculous. Humble. I mean, we're seeing Humble just played as a 2 for 6 in Classic Constructed out here.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can just throw that card down and just be like, what do you got about this? So I've definitely found it to be possible to an extent, but my last draft, I hadn't gotten to play Azuri yet. My first pack had red Death Touch. My second pack had red Sneak Attack, and I just said, I am forcing Azuri for the rest of this draft,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to hope that I get it and I don't get cut off, and I 3-0'd that one. So sometimes you just got to force, I think, to like. I mean, I think that's a natural thing in draft. Like
Yeah.
you sometimes things have to just break your way, right? And I think part of what is important is just being able to read. Like, am I getting the generics I need to stay open, or like, do these cards just suck? And I kind of need to like find a lane and just maybe hope things stick with me. One of the things I think interesting about what you talked about is because there are so many assassin cards that with those hybrids, it feels like maybe a pod can support slightly more assassins
Hmm.
than the other things. So you might like I feel like Arachne, you can have an okay Arachne deck and still win a draft just because there are so many good stealth cards. You can just kind of get some stuff that other people won't really care about, but you know, two for blood rot, you know, the yellow blood rot card can be okay. The yellow
Yeah.
inertia card can be okay in certain situations. So I don't know, but I'm certainly like this is my first set really drafting Flesh and Blood, so
Right.
I've just been loving it. Yeah, I haven't.
It's
I kind of stayed away from Uprising just because no one wanted to play it, but they didn't have to.
I think that's fair, and I think this is all to say. I think this limited set is great.
Yep.
I'm really excited about it. I think maybe staying open in the past, like in Monarch or something, would be something you do longer, and maybe staying open now, like as you say, it's kind of open, like half open.
Mm.
You're trying to take generics that are good, but you're also grabbing key
Yeah.
class cards that could benefit you going along the way. The other side of this too is something we talked about in the last segment where we pondered together, but was me and Blake.
So by together you
Or
mean
was it Blake? It was Josh. I think it was Josh. Yeah.
so by together you mean definitively not us.
Well, if you go watch this, go back and watch the segment,
Mm.
you could be a part of it.
Okay, cool.
But the other thing being that the 2 token slots and the 14 cards that we're drafting rather than traditional 15 cards, I think does also impact.
Yeah, for sure.
The ability to stay open, how long you stay open, and what that actually looks like. So I think, I'm personally, I'm kind of like a pragmatist or purist about this. I'm like, I want to draft my seat. I want to
Yeah.
try
So you
to
want to you want to be open for as long as you can be, so you can read the signals.
Yeah.
And you're finding that to be not as easy as you want to be, or yeah.
I think and this is limited data. I'm doing this
Yeah.
on. I tried to stay really
Limited
open
data.
in.
Come on.
Boom, that was unintentional. I'm basing this off of a couple drafts where I was really trying to do that, and I read my seat very well. The last draft we did, it was 6 people, which I
Just the
think
Benji?
also
Yeah.
it was also weird. I think that
Yeah, totally.
throws in some other kind of issues that may have contributed to this, but we had 2 of each hero. And two of each class, 1 of every hero.
Wow.
And I was just like, dude, we did it, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we drafted perfectly. And then I just had the crappiest Benji deck, which, is probably more of a me problem. But
No.
I have seen better players who have been talking about, staying open. What does that mean? Is it actually a thing? Or, is it more correct to, pick those powerful class cards and go into a class quickly so that you can kind of gobble those up, and then later when people stop taking generics, you can get some good generics too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any good answers. I think this is also interesting because it kind of pivots into a lot of talk of the kind of collation issues between the Belgium and Japanese packs and what they're going to do at the Pro Tour.
Well, don't ask them because they're not going to tell us.
I mean, honestly, I think that was a great response. They're like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna give you something and trust us, it's fine. And everyone's like, well, it's not fair. This is the most fair because the only edge you get is how good you are at quickly reading packs and paying attention to your draft pool.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. If you're going to the Pro Tour, you should be pretty good at drafting. So, if you're worried about not being able to memorize the exact, pack layout, and that's the only thing that's really contributing. I mean, that's not the only thing. I'm being a bit glib about that, but
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I think I think it will be interesting. I'm excited. I was talking about this earlier. I'm really excited to see the Pro Tour limited play and what people do if we see any like real archetypes form up. And I don't know. But again, all this is just me and my silly opinions, thoughts. But thank you. I think that's all we got today for pondering with yours truly, Sam. Thank you for coming on this thoughtful journey.
It was an honor to pond with you, sir. I've never ponded so hard in my life.
I feel like I've entered a Zen state and will just not take any damage for the rest of my life.
Wow. Could we be so lucky?
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. We're taking a short break.
Round 5 coming right up.
All right, we'll be right back. Match. I had a great time. We chatted with Feiyu. He's just out here chunking damage on people, and you know what? That's fine. It's just how it goes some days.
He said, "Get ready for some more. There's 2 more rounds of this." He's like, "I already got $50, but I want the other 350 coming my way."
He probably locked in. We're doing 5 rounds, so he's 3-0. So he's probably locked in for top 8, which I'm very excited about. So Kano probably wins today. Just gonna say that now.
Hell yeah.
Why not? Unless he plays Dromai, and then we're just gonna have to keep that lucky streak going. I don't know. What
Could you imagine being Alexander Vor? You whatever. I don't know if he drove or flew, but you come on over to California. Somebody wins the tournament you're in as Kano, and you're like, I didn't play Kano, but somebody won as Kano. Yeah.
These are the choices we all have to make before every single tournament. Unless you're just Craig, who plays Oldhim every time. You're actually thinking, should I play somebody else? And that's why I envy people who just specialize in like one thing, and I'm just over here
being bad at
putzing
7
around.
decks.
Yeah, being bad at 7 decks instead of good at 1. So we got a special segment coming up. It's one of my favorites. I'm sure it's one of Blake's favorites. You know it. You love it. It's barraging Blake.
Oh.
It's the
Hell
beatdown
yeah.
on Blake time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some things. And
Trent's going to talk about Guardian cards in the chat and not pay attention to what's going on at all, That's how it works.
He might be in the past. So, he's watching the game.
I just realized I'm not watching live. Well, we're going to know that
Shout out to
happened,
Trent.
and everyone else at home that's watching this later will have no clue.
He's going to find out where we're at. But here we are, barraging Blake.
Time to give me the stroke that takes me out forever.
Let's
Here
have
we
some
go.
fun. What's our first topic today? All right, a pre-release report, Blake. How was
Oh, how did
pre-release
my
for
pre-release
you
go?
at Outsiders? I know how mine went. Wasn't great. How about you?
Okay, I don't know where this is getting at, but I went to two pre-releases, one on a Friday night.
Yep, right here at Odyssey Games.
This is what we're getting at. One on a Saturday. It's sealed both times. This
Yep.
isn't the draft thing that we're talking about. My 6-packs, super excited. I got my cold foil tokens. Down and Dirty was my Majestic.
Ooh.
That's gonna not do anything for you. As we were doing it, it was like, okay, I have played Arachne. I know how this works. I'm gonna play Solitary Confinement Arachne. I'm gonna take these people to the cleaners. I'm gonna win this. I'm taking
Win
Friday
this
night
game.
seriously. And then I play against somebody in round 1, and I was taking it seriously, and I was like, they were like, I'm gonna Spider's Bite because I forgot. And I was like, I'm good on that, because that Spider Bite is gonna own me. And then they were like, all right, I'm gonna rage quit and get out of here. And I was like, oh no, that's not great. But then I played Craig in round 2.
Is that really what happened?
Well,
You know what? If you miss something and your opponent doesn't allow you to happen, you have to live up with that because it was your mistake.
oh well, now we're piling on.
No, I'm just saying that, and it goes both ways. Because if you
Yeah.
let them do it and then you lose because of it,
Then I
that was
feel
your
bad,
choice.
Yeah.
And you put that by asking someone to do that, you put that on them. And I feel very strongly about this that you probably shouldn't ask unless it's like low stakes. If it's just a regular armory,
But this is a cold foil Uzuri, man.
we're playing for
This
it.
is a
I
cold
won
foil
mine in a
Uzuri.
raffle, so I was
Get
fine.
out of here! If you're gonna play sloppy offense and sloppy, I didn't even know I was sweating that bad. Oh
Hey,
my
look,
God.
it's
like this from now on.
getting down and
So,
dirty in it.
We're getting on a tangent. So basically, then I beat Craig.
Ooh,
And it was like, this is the first time I ever beat Craig in my life. And once again, it was one of those 3 times where when I beat somebody, they go, what the hell just happened? This is not supposed to be true. And I need to reevaluate my entire life. So Craig is never going to not play Pile Arachne for his whole time. Because he looked over at my deck. He had, there's like 17 cards in my graveyard. And he was like, okay, I got him on the ropes. There was still 24 cards in my graveyard when he did this.
Oh my god.
And he was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Marcus Brown, it's pre-release, it's still casual area. I don't want to lose to people casually though. I want to That's playing sloppy offense.
It is still your choice. You're not it's not your responsibility to allow other people to make mistakes and get away with it. Like
and then
you don't have to do it.
I lost game 3 and 4 and it was awful and I was like, get me out of here.
It happens.
There was no point of being
It's casual,
aggro.
but if you're trying to win a prize, then you don't have to give people advantages when they make a mistake.
Outsider report, what we're trying to say is I spent
$80.
$80. I got 2 Majestics, an Infiltrate, and a Down and Dirty. No legendaries, no nothing. Ruined relationships for years. Got late to the thing, woke up, was tired, got an ear infection afterwards. Just everything bad happened at pre-release where I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever do this again. But I love pre-release, but maybe I'll never do this again. Maybe I'll wait until the cards come out. But this is so fun. And it wasn't that fun or whatever, but
welcome to the chat.
Yeah.
It's fine. Pre-release is tough because sometimes you go and you buy some packs and you open a Fable and your life feels amazing.
Fable opened up next to me.
Oh my god.
Evan got a legendary.
Yeah, we had like
Somebody
3 or 4
else got a legendary
legendaries
that I was like, oh god, not this guy.
It's always it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it comes to pre-release. Am I right?
Marcus is keeping us honest. Whoa, loud noises. Yes, somebody showed up for the first time in 3 months I've seen them and dropped 5 chairs literally 3 feet that way. After begging them to come hang out on Tuesdays when there's 25 people, can't make it there, but I'm going to come and just drop a whole bunch of like full-on metal chairs from the WWE as loud as possible on stream.
I mean, you are the heel in this situation, right?
We're going to zoom through these next 3 unless it's
we both
really bad.
We both barraged on that one. Let's see. What's our next topic?
It's
the Ice Brute Hero. Rhino,
oh my
Reckless,
god. That didn't even make sense for a second. Ice Brute Hero is not even worth talking about. Okay, so Ice Brute Hero.
I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is.
Ice Brute Hero is never going to happen. And everyone being like, Ice Brute Hero, oh my god, I can't wait for that. Intimidate and Frostbite do not go together. There's nothing that synergizes with that. And you could say, well, that's how Brute cards goes. They don't synergize with each other. I get that argument.
That's the class design.
But if you look at Tales of Aria, are there more 6s and buffs in Ice, Lightning, or Earth? Oh, Earth. How much Ice is in Reinar's card art right there? 0. How much Earth is in his card art?
Yeah, but
100.
He's not the Ice hero.
Right.
It would be a different Ice.
Okay, so of all the cards that Ryan, what is his name? Ice Brute Hero. Let's call him Ice B.
Ice B.
No, let's call him Yeti or something. So
he definitely would be a Yeti.
Yeti can use channel Lake Frigid. Why would you want them to? Oh, you can't block from hand.
And you have now cards you can pitch. You have more cards to pitch.
It doesn't affect them. It's like channel Bleak Expanse doesn't work for Brute. What would that do for you?
Roll them dice though.
Hypothermia's bust. The 08 can't use it. Ice Amulet 08. Like Ice Amulet is like an intimidate, but it's an actual good intimidate. Maybe that's the first argument. You would have to completely make 6 more of those. The Winter's Visit or some bull. All the 6 ice cards from, I don't even know what these cards are called. Tales of Aria, the ones no one used. Winter's Fang or something.
Oh, yeah. What's it? Frostfang.
Frostfang. Everyone there that uses these cards is like, duh. Yeah, Frostfang doesn't work with barraging, like, all those ice attacks that we're talking about would not work with any of the cards that is currently in the thing. And you're like, yes, you would make new ones.
What if you could
Channel Mount Heroic, barraging
intimidate all their cards and then give them like 8 frostbites and deal a bunch of damage? Then they have all their cards but can't do anything.
There's no way anyone behind me would play a deck different than that then. It would just be 36 people playing Yeti meta.
So it'd basically be a better old him is what we're deciding
and it's
right
like,
now.
do you want... Oh, the Ice Brute is old him, and we just gave him a shield. Like, we've already seen that. Like, cheering for Ice Brute doesn't make sense. You don't understand the cards of Brute and how they are... A better
Nobody
thing would be
understands the
Earth
cards of
Brute, where we could Blood Rush Bellow into a Channel Mount Heroic and just do 37 damage in one turn, and we set up for that the whole time. When we Force of Nature, but we can't use that because it's a specialization.
What about a light brute?
Next slide, let's go.
Here we go.
It's not worth talking. Light Brute?
Yeah, man.
Soul Shield? Buyouts? I don't even know about buyouts. Like, buyouts?
What are buyouts?
What is buyouts? So we got, I didn't do the research on Salty Whale. So what's interesting about buyouts is you're buying cards, then they're out.
And now we can't get
people
those
can't
cards.
get them, and it's like, okay, that's what we're talking about. So it's like,
We found the
what
thread.
team are you on? I think this is not barraging Blake down right now. This is a morality question for you. Would you
Welcome to late stage capitalism
would
where
you-
morality no longer exists.
right? Would you rather have one person make a bunch of money, or
Mhm.
every person have access to card?
Uh,
If you say, I prefer money for my pocket over community get card, you deserve leg broke. And that's serious. Like, we're going to grow the community. We're going to grow my wallet. Some of y'all care about growing the wallet. And it is something where it's like, I'm going to root against you for the rest of my life. And like, oh, but Blake, your collection went 1.3 since last year. I'm not selling my cards. I play cards. I don't sell cards. I don't work at Frank's Sons. I don't do any of this.
yeah, I'm not.
All right, everybody, it is time for your top 8 of the
Stretch
AGE Open Series Players Championship. I'm Mitch Leslie here. Colin Honeyman, of course, right beside me to
What up?
see... again, another elimination match, I suppose. Pretty safe to put it that way now as we're heading into a very standard single elimination 8-player bracket here.
That's
so
right.
we're going to cover one quarterfinal. We're going to hold one of the semis. So we'll do one quarter, semi, grand final for you. So 4 more matches of flesh and blood.
Ooh.
Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the players first, because there's a player we haven't really had a chance to highlight, I think, as a local player out here. Fuzzy Delp
That's right.
will be on one side of the table on Briar with a top 8 in our previous AGE and 48 points in total. It'll be his first appearance on a feature match.
Nice. Yeah, we brought this up earlier, and we're really excited for Fuzzy because this is his kind of first foray into competitive play coming to the AGE events. So this is really kind of help bolster his confidence and bring him to that competitive level. And he's actually going to nationals, so this is a great warm up for him. So excited to see him on camera with Briar.
Yeah, I've had played one game against him and it was a great time. He's a fantastic competitor. Alexander Vore will be on the other side of the table from him, bringing the heat from Arizona right down here to SoCal. Well before we even kicked off with our AGE Open Series, he was a known quantity as a prolific wizard player. Feared on Kano. I think that Pro Tour Lille was, a lot of people were looking out for him. He did turn up on that Kano list and was pretty dangerous. He's on Icelander today.
That's right. That was a wonderful weekend when he just showed up and smoked everybody on camera.
Love that, yeah.
We all enjoyed that, those of us who love Kano.
And of course, he's not the only Vore brother in that top 8. So keep an eye out for Matthew Vore on the other side of the bracket. There's always a chance we get a Brothers War, wrong card game, but they'll be going head-to-head in this as well. Let's talk pricing here, because that's a pretty significant difference between again, this sort of top 8 and getting 3rd and 4th here. $150 on the line as far as this matchup is concerned.
Yeah, this is a pretty big one. I was saying later they're gonna all pool the money and then play a Monopoly deal for all of it.
I am here for it.
And we'll stream it. If they all agree, we'll stream it. I don't think that's going to happen, but that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get players mic'd up properly if we're going to stream that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been like friendships have been made and shattered entirely. We're really fueling the SoCal rivalry mill.
Yeah, it's been too nice, so like let's just shake it up
Yeah.
and put some resentment and hatred.
This
in there.
sportsmanship makes me sick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nothing like a bit of Monopoly deal to bring us back to our most primal roots. On the topic of flesh and blood, though, we're moments away from jumping into this matchup. It's a quarterfinal. I think our players they look like they're ready. They're even being held before the game. It'll be Alexander Vore on Icelander Stormbind going up against Fuzzy Delp Briar, Warden of Thorns.
Yeah, we've got 2 Briars, I think 3 Icelanders, so we might see this matchup again later, for sure.
How many Lexi in our top 8?
0.
Absolutely 0. Alejandro Cuevas falling just short, unfortunately, of the top 8 after a great start today. A local from Kingslayer Games, actually works at the store and is an excellent player. So, Alexander Vore, you've seen him on your screen many times if you've watched any of the official Flesh and Blood coverage. A well-travelled competitor in the space, always a wizard player. One of the first to really start pushing the boundaries of what Icelander can do. Didn't obviously come up with a Bulllander kind of style, but,
Last month he played Bravo, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's an all-rounder. He can just play decks and be good at them. And that's been the fun part of this whole series is seeing a lot of different players bring a lot of different decks. I think our winners throughout the year, we had 7 different winners on 7 different heroes, which is pretty awesome. And I think once Alexander and his brother started showing up, I think the competition definitely stepped up a bit and people started sweating a little bit more because the heavy hitters from out of town were coming in.
Yes, SoCal gets very territorial like that. Obviously, there's plenty of love shared between us, but once we hit the battlefield, none of that is lost. So Alexander Vore's list features an individual Aether Wildfire, one of the players that has always had like one of these copies floating around in the 80, and 3 copies of Sigil of Permafrost, excuse me.
So nice. You the sigil?
That 1-for-4 sort of defense reaction that will enable you to inflict frostbites equal to the damage you deal next time it comes in. Also, the Arctic Incarceration, 3 of those at blue, which is not a choice for everybody, just given that it's only a 2 and not a 3 block here. They're the cards to really look out for. It's what kind of sets Alexander's list apart from many others. We're going to start with a bit of a filter here. It'll be a Corner Peak activation.
Yeah, over on Fuzzy's side, it looks like a pretty standard Earthbriar, fast and hard kind of deck. Nothing too spicy, I don't think.
Premeditates, I guess?
Premeditates is cool. Sigils of Suffering. He's got the meeps in there.
Yeah, meeps. Don't leave home without the meeps, that's for sure.
Everybody loves a meep. So, coming in, Rabble, revealing the Command and Conquer, 4 go again. Briar stuff,
Yeah.
Does Alexander have Warmongers in his deck?
He does have
He does.
Warmongers,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, that'll be interesting to see when that comes out because that's
It can be punishing, like what we've noticed, and we saw it in the Chris Yali game earlier today on stream, is that Chris was playing a pretty mid-range approach, having to block with a couple of cards per cycle, and was really just like throwing a 4 attack and then coming in with Rosetta on many occasions, so it didn't affect him too negatively here. Ravenous Rabble comes in, it's going to get some damage done, so we're going to be creating an Embodiment of Earth token.
easy, just take the life. That's how you win these games. Oh, he blocked a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. We had Aether Ice Vein thrown there, which is definitely something Fuzzy would not have wanted to see come back across the table at him on a subsequent turn cycle. He might still see it anyway. So we're pitching here to our Grass the Arc Knight. Going to create a Rune Chant token. And, of course, we have some float here, so more to be done. Come in with a Swarming Gloomveil for 4.
Fuzzy being a true sportsman, showing the cards to Alexander, who probably is very familiar with all of them.
Yes,
But
I believe I'm familiar with this one. Thank you there, Fuzzy. Yeah,
there's a lot of text on some of these cards.
Quite courteous to play them upside down for your opponent. I wouldn't dare. I need to read them too. We get another Ice Vein for this block, so Fuzzy is at least forcing Alexander to part with some of the more frustrating disruption. And hey, Why not finish off with a snatch? Gets even a nod of the head there from Alexander, like an inclination, some respect off it. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to block this, I guess.
Yeah.
Do nothing on my turn.
Yeah, you love it when they block with the Ice Vein because
Get him out of the deck. 7 more to go. 7 more to go,
7
Colin.
more-
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, that's why you run 9 so you can block a couple.
No Iron Rot here.
Mm.
It's actually Metacarpus node, which means that this is a lot harder to block. Now, will Fuzzy be encouraged to do anything after the fact? No, it's just to get him an Arsenal card, but still something that has to be respected. And Vor says, okay, is it a problem to give 2 cards and not advance my game plan much next turn? We're about to find out.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of take it. It's
Take
just an
it.
Arsenal card. I think this early, you want to be able. He already blocked 2 cards. That'd be pretty rough.
Yeah, again, like if you ever can get Icelander to block with 3 cards, you're loving life because she probably can't do too much more.
Hated it.
Yeah.
Hates it.
2 cards a turn cycle. She's built for that. She's more than happy to present those blocks. So it will be an encase here, fused. Now,
Nice.
how much do we mind this as Briar? So obviously, if this is fused, which it is, and it deals damage to a hero, we'll freeze that hero and all equipment they control. So you can't play or activate that equipment. That means that the Grasp of the Arcanite and I guess the Snapdragon Scalers will be turned off. And it's an attack reaction, right? So, but it can't be activated. So I assume that would be.
Yeah, I think it's an activation. Yeah, because it's a reaction.
Yeah.
So you freeze it. Yeah, and then he won't get embodiment tokens, so it's pretty good.
True.
I like this. I'm glad that this one.
It doesn't stop. Does it stop triggered abilities? Because you're not actually you're not activating Briar.
Well,
It's when
when
an
it
attack
freezes that hero,
Yeah, fair question.
it can't be played. Oh no, I guess probably not. I think
Yeah.
if it is just a triggered ability, it still works. So I take that back. Somebody will correct me in the chat in 3, 2.
There we go. Fuzzy Smith, did he miss a snatch draw? No. Really?
He may have not have arsenaled it, but yeah, maybe he missed the.
There's no way. Oh, he did, apparently. Okay.
I think that might be what they're talking about on
Well.
the table right now, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at any Arsenal here for Fuzzy. So you may be right. Okay, so opting not to, which I think was that Command and Conquer. So it's a reasonable candidate for heading into the Arsenal. Fuzzy definitely losing some value there. And still getting to force a bit of damage down Alexander Paul's throat. So getting 7 for that turn cycle has to feel okay. But there's a question of what we do about this. We have Arcane Barrier 3 on board. Or at least, yeah, enough to sort of eat this up with a blue. And it looks like a blue in hand there. But do you want to give the Force of Nature up for this? Which I believe that is. We'll see in a moment. Yes, WF with Wildfire. There is a Singleton Wildfire in this list. Something that Alexander Vor has actually been doing for a long time. You could almost consider it as like a signature of his. I'm sure other players do it, but every Icelander deck list I feel like I've seen.
So with the snatch, it was you have to draw a card, but you can miss Arsenal. So what Connor said is that since he didn't draw.
We're hearing that because Fuzzy did not draw off the Snatch. The Snatch is actually a must trigger. It's not a may trigger. But the Arsenal choice is optional. So Fuzzy had to draw the card, but was not able to pocket it in the end. Again, Fuzzy's first feature match here, and he as he discussed, it's
It's
he's
rough
feeling the
once
nerves, yeah.
the lights are on and people are sitting there staring at you, and you're on stream. It is not easy, so we always appreciate these players coming on stream and playing for us.
Yeah. So, an Enlightened Strike. This is Fuzzy's Enlightened Strike. It's always tricky when you've got a hero that plays on the opponent's turn and then a very courteous opponent who presents his attack actions upside down. Because that could definitely be an Icelander card here.
Whose card is what?
Right, was that Emeritus from Arsenal here? So Fuzzy is on the hook for 4. Takes it.
Angry Professor, as I like to call it.
That's what it is, really. Now, there's still the question of how we respond to this Enlightened Strike, which presumably is 5 go again. What do we do here? Looks like we take it. We have not moved to the blocking step yet, but...
Oh, yeah, I think he was waiting to draw the card.
He waning mooned Fuzzy. That's what happened there. So, just the Warmongers put in front. What a nice little generic 3 block. Don't see them very often.
Too good. Blocks for 3, too good.
I think I was saying to Joshua Myers, it could be a red 2 block and still have a place.
Yeah, it definitely would have a place. It would be less easy to slot into almost.
So that turn was a... Sorry, he strike for 5.
Yeah,
And
he struck for
draw.
5 and he drew the card, so...
That's fair. I think he had to pitch pretty heavily there to the Arcane barrier to not have himself frozen stiff. We have now Embodiment of Earth popping, so a window here for Alexander Vore to act.
Yeah, Wizards love this.
Yeah, big fan of that. But sometimes it will take a tunic counter at the start. Ah, it's okay. That's not what you want to see at all.
That's exactly why Wizards love it. They're like, cool, I'm going to tax.
Sometimes you do want to get Icelander to sort of you want to force a hand. So like you have your tunic, you take tunic and see what they do. Okay, so yeah, Channel Lake Frigid comes down, taxing every action Fuzzy looks to take, and also inflicting him with a frostbite here. The antithesis to what Briar really wants to do, and we'll be looking out for how long Alexander can keep that in play. We have a Coronet peak here, so Alexander can pitch that reliably. And playing Channel Mount Heroic on your opponent's turn is so disgusting for so many reasons. The primary reason is that you don't gain a flown counter until the end of your turn. So Alexander Vore does not have to pitch ice on Fuzzy's turn, just during his next turn.
Yeah, you get that extra turn. So even if you don't have the ice, which you probably will, you still get like 2 turns out of it, which is pretty.
The free turn of value, right, is... against a Briar who can't like throw an attack before being afflicted by that. And Fuzzy says, well, right, I've got a Channel Mount Heroic in my hand here. Do I find a way to get that into the arsenal? How do I put pressure? I've got a Lightning Surge in hand, not arsenal, which feels not very good. It's just, well, I'm throwing it. So we have 4 here. It does not have go again. You're pitching, and we are over pitching, I suppose, into this, right? Oh, there's a frostbite, excuse me. So it is a 2 cost. 0 for 4 without go again here as we pay through the frostbite token.
Yep. Channel Lake Frigid. It's rough.
And we are pitching to cover the waning moon. So Fuzzy is basically conceding his turn cycle here, seeing the CLF come down. It's not so much the Channel Lake Frigid. It's actually that second that frostbite that gets created by it being revealed from Arsenal. That's what honestly even hurts more on this particular turn. Being taxed isn't good. Briar has ways to fight through it. Hey, you still get to do damage. You still get yourself an embodiment, which may or may not be relevant. Alexander, if he sends some of those attack actions over, it might find a place, which we have Finals Fighting Spirit, Command and Conquer, Wounded Bull, all in the list here for Vore.
Classic.
All right, Aether Hail. Here we come for 4. So it's Aether Hail, the red variety. And now Fuzzy is playing on having to defend himself on two turns, back to back.
Yeah, pitching the Insidious Chills, so Lake Frigid will be around another turn. I feel like it will be out for another turn.
Yeah, and you have to price in almost inevitably a Frostbite when it's your turn again, because again you begrudgingly you created an embodiment. It's almost like Alexander Vore almost like wants to take damage.
Yeah.
He wants that embodiment to be there. He wants there to be a ledge for him to play from at the start of Fuzzy's turn. So this will be a waning moon on Alexander Vore's own turn. So it only represents 2 Arcane. We've already had our Tomb of Harvest, I guess, pitched to try and eat 3 of 4 of that Aether Hail's damage.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of being able to respond to the embodiment breaking, getting that frostbite in before they do anything, like, ensures that it really has an impact. I think sometimes if you catch them in the middle, they're actually like, well, you know, I didn't have anything left to do, so it doesn't matter, it goes away.
This is why Briar is still playable in Classic Constructed. Icelander is the reason for it. My goodness. That'll be it. Fuzzy says, all right, hey, would you like to play again?
Would you like to keep playing? Yeah, this is Alexander Vore's game, and Fuzzy is just here to witness it until the lake thaws and he can go do something else.
I've got to say, though, having Dyadic Carapace really is amazing in this matchup now, because having AB3 and 2 of that AB being pretty natural, just having to bring in the sort of crown of dichotomy to make sure you get to 3 is great. You don't have to worry about, like, Quill Hand, you know, or anything like that. I've seen Briar play Rusted Relic. You know what I mean? Like, whatever they can to sort of eat some of this Arcane. Because Briar, if she's forced into like a more mid-range game plan, like maybe a single attack action per turn, like she can play that way. You
Yeah.
can't be expecting Snapdragon scalers here, not when CLF is in play. So this is probably it, right? Just a snatch.
I would assume so. Yeah. Yeah, and the Carapace is also great in this matchup because you can block for 2 on one of the big attacks as well, and keep that around. Because it has temper, probably not blocking with it again after that. But the 2 life plus the AB2, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy. It's a legendary that's kind of so basic, but that it's almost busted.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, it
basically.
is. Yeah, it's very vanilla, I guess, in what it does. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it turns out that's kind of what Briar really needed. You go up from playing either Ironweave, which was a 1 block that did give you resources, but generally Briar doesn't need them that badly. 2 resources is also kind of weird. You just maybe want an extra 1 from Rosetta Thorn, which is why we saw Tunic in some matchups. But it really, it's a missing piece here. Ooh,
Sigil Permafrost coming out.
okay. So it's a 1 for 4 defense reaction that says if it's fused. Oh, was it fused?
I don't think it was.
Okay, it might be. I mean, still an elegant way to eat up this attack.
Yep.
Still costs Vor 2 cards, but one of them he'll keep in the deck. I'll pass over to. Is this still Fuzzy's turn? Did he draw up?
He did.
Yes. Okay. So sorry, this is it's
This
not
is
the way the
Alex's
ice.
turn. Ooh, it looks like Channel Lake Frigid will be going away.
Yeah, and Ice Vein in pitch here. I mean, Alexander Vor drew up I guess a hand with no ice cards.
Well, it's weird because
Sigil of Permafrost, 2 Ice Veins, and a Frost Hex, right?
yeah, the
So
Frost.
he
The
could've-
Frost Hex is a nice card.
I mean, I mean, that's a nice card. I
Well-
suppose why he needs 2 ice cards, right? He's going to have 2 flow counters.
Yeah,
on his
yeah,
turn,
exactly,
So
yeah.
that's the issue.
I was curious why he didn't fuse the Sigil, but I forget what the fuse on the Sigil does.
It means that you will create frostbites equal to the next instance of damage you deal.
Oh, gotcha.
So maybe not relevant at that part of the turn.
Yeah,
as
I
Fuzzy was just throwing 1 attack and then passing. It's just unnecessary. No frost text to benefit from them popping or anything like that. So no damage represented from those
Right,
frostbites.
right.
All right, 5. And your Waning Moon coming in after that as well. Earthlaw Surge in the pitch. Fuzzy,
Paying the tax on the.
yeah, still has to
Same.
pay. Just still has to deal with that tax here. So,
I think that was. I think he took 5.
okay, gotcha. Yep, no worries.
I think.
Maybe took 4. Yeah, took 4 and paid 2. Okay, now Waning Moon. I think this is always an interesting juncture because it's psychological actually. When you play, big shout out to Nathan Crawford. Man, talk about Briar expert running Rusted Relic at last US Nats. That's great. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, buddy, you. I mean, Nathan brought this incredible mid-range Briar deck into our last Goliath corner, which was a ton of fun to watch. And then unfortunately, he was felled by his teammate. But psychologically, you get to a point in the game against Icelander when you're about to drop below her life total for the first time, and you tell yourself, should I allow this? Because I started with more life than her. And everyone tells me that being at less life than Icelander means I've lost the game. Now, this is like obviously not intuitively true, but it's something that you think about. Like, hey, we're not trading evenly if I'm going below her life. That means I'm losing out on a turn cycle somewhere. So
Yeah.
worth bearing in mind. Gorganian Tome into Channel Mount Heroic. Nothing in the arsenal for Alexander to mess this up. Hey, create an Embodiment of Lightning. You could not ask for a much better setup turn. We've got Embodiment of Lightning. We've got a card in Arsenal. We've got Channel Mount Heroic deployed. Fuzzy is ready to go guns blazing.
Why is he swinging his sword?
I got something left over, right? I think you maybe wanted to pitch the Bramble Spark away. He just doesn't want to have extra cards in his hand, right? You IP1 yourself, essentially?
But couldn't he? I mean, if he has an attack action in Arsenal, then
What are you
That would
saying that
get-
he should throw it
he
and
should
then
play it
Rosetta
because
after
then he
that?
could get the
And he could get the extra damage.
Arcane. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have an attack action, which
Maybe
would
not.
really be unfortunate for
Yeah.
his first Channel Mount Heroic turn of the game.
Well, getting a sync for this doesn't seem awful, in fairness. But yeah, sure. Like you want to make use of the Channel Mount Heroic. Like man, I mean, if you're getting +3 and you're leaving an attack action, I can't imagine you do that because like Bramble Spark Arsenal seems like a completely reasonable thing to do.
Yeah,
Right?
No, he must not have an attack action in there, which is pretty unfortunate on this turn. Yeah, I mean, I guess you just have to play it and hope that you get it because holding on to it is not going to be any better, really. So, Alex coming back says, "Give me a
PQ.
card."
Okay, Fuzzy says, right. Well, I mean, this is now. Yeah, if you had Findle Spring Tunic, you could just give him the tuning card. It's so good. It doesn't have arcane barrier, so that's a concession you have to make it. Maybe that could have consequences, but still. Maybe it costs too much. Quite possibly here. Yep. Well, it's a force of nature.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
answers your
okay.
question. No, you get a force of nature fused on a channel mount heroic turn. You've also shown a blue card on that fuse. So Alexander Fall thinks, I mean, how do I stop that? I don't. I'm probably just going to throw 3 cards at this first attack. Presumably it's like a 4-power attack, right? So that goes up to 8.
Yeah, it's Earthlord Bounty.
Oh, the CLF. Yeah. Fuzzy says, well, maybe I get some damage here.
Oh, God, he did it again.
Again, I mean, depending what Alexander Vol parts with here, like his ability to keep that channel like frigid in play will be under.
Oh, Autumn's Touch is it's a 5.
Yeah.
So, pretty good.
Okay. Throw it in here. So was that 9, right? 9 go again? Not that you can do anything with the extra action.
Yeah, 9 go again, draw a card on hit. Pretty good. You know, just
Vor-
pretty good.
We'll see shields down. Fuzzy, I mean, why not just pay the one, right? 3 cards in, yeah, okay. In Alexander Vor's hand here. So Fuzzy probably gets a draw card here. Unless Alexander Vor's ready to give up a coronet peak, but I'd be very surprised with that the case because that's how you keep your CLFs around. But it's a 3-card block, one way or another, which definitely means that CLF just goes bye-bye at the end of Vor's turn.
Yeah.
Take it!
Takes it. He came here to play.
All right. 9.
Not block.
9, go again, draw a card. This allows Fuzzy to. He's paid the 1. Okay, so he does pay the 1 resource into the Waning Moon, which is interesting because if you draw a red, you can't come in with a Rosetta Thorn. So, yeah, the paying the 1 resource is interesting because if you draw.
Oh, he took 1 arcane from the Force of Nature, I think. That has an arcane damage on it, right?
Force of Nature, no, it's Bramble Spark.
Oh, is it?
Force of Nature gives you +1 on your next attack if you fuse it.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
so Fuzzy pays. I guess Fuzzy's not intending to do anything with the next card. He wants to arsenal it, so have a bigger turn. All I'm saying is that if he leaves that 1 floating, right, you draw like a 0 for 4 off the top, then it doesn't seem bad. You pay into it with that and put more pressure down. But Fuzzy is the Briar player. Is it 10 from the Force of Nature Fuse? So Force of Nature Fuse is +1. I
It's
think
a blue Autumn's Touch of
should
5.
be 9.
plus
5,
1
6,
plus
7, 8.
3.
9.
Or Mount Heroic is +3?
Yeah, Force of Nature Fuse is giving you +1. It's a base 5 attack.
Yeah. Alex in the think tank.
Yeah, I guess Vor is trying to decide, well, okay, if this is better than a red, if it's a red, it goes in pocket. If it's yellow or above, it probably, depending on what it is, it could fuel a Rosetta swing. We have 2 earth cards, crucially, in pitch. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for this channel like Frigid, I would think that Vor would be in a really compromising situation. But
Yeah, I mean, it's still great timing for him on this, but it...
give you the sink. So preserve life and still, yeah, you wanna arsenal a card and you want to pitch to Coronet Peak. Okay, here it is.
Ooh.
Fuzzy Delve has a look. He has an action point to play with here. And how do you make best use of it? You cannot pitch to grass would do a cheeky little extra Rosetta. You cannot play as, it's got to go in the pocket there. So
Yeah.
it's either a red or a utility card that maybe Fuzzy doesn't feel. He might just want to play off 5 cards as often as possible, but he should expect to be under the tax of channel like Frigid another turn cycle.
And yeah, maybe even Cornet's Peak, too.
What is his hand? We've got
You got a Sigil, Suffering.
Sigil. That's not Overload, is it? There's no way. No. The old.
He's got another Autumn's Touch.
Maybe a Rabble in hand
I
there.
think
It's
so.
unclear. Still, you can probably get some value here from this channel. Sigil of Suffering is an interesting one here. Pulse of Candlehold?
I think that is a Pulse Candle.
Yeah. Not sure what that second card is, so we'll find
Yeah,
out.
not the best hand for a Channel Mount Heroic follow-up.
No.
Fuzzy seems like he's drawn some weird
Relatively
hands to start.
resource dense in fairness, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice. But here's your Coronet Peak to start us off.
Yeah, I mean, just making him pay, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got the Ice Crown and the, view of the ice lake. It costs you.
Need to buy a permit for that particular trail. So Blizzard in the pitch zone here. Pitch, yep. We just throw away our. Interesting. So instead of paying one, he just gets rid of it. He doesn't want that in the deck.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
not really
like if he
relevant.
gets to the second cycle, I feel like there probably won't be much more attack actions left, so probably just a dead card.
Yep.
If it lines up, it's good. If it doesn't,
All right, Alexander gets another crack now. As our embodiment of Earth is popping. What is that? Is that there's a sink below in hand potentially there. Yep.
oh, he's got a
See it?
nimblism. Okay.
Yeah. So
Oof, this,
you
does he
can
have an
create an
effect?
embodiment of lightning. It depends what's in that arsenal.
yeah.
Oh, it's a premeditate. Right. What's in the arsenal, sir? Chance to respond to this. The pulsar candle hold was pitched, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because obviously premeditate now costs.
Yeah, it costs one, and then he's got the nimblism, and then whatever's in arsenal, which we did not see. Hopefully, it's an attack action.
I mean, yes. He didn't throw it last turn, so it's probably a red. Otherwise, I thought he might have tried a Rosetta. I don't know if that's good enough value, really, paying 2 for your weapon swing.
yeah.
That doesn't get buffed by Chanama Heroic. I'm not sure what goes through a Briar player's mind, really. It's exactly. It's a different world to me.
Yeah, no. It's less burr than it used to be, but
I know it's a lot of brr right now because it'd be frosty. Get this guy by a hearth stat. Get this guy a cup of Java juice.
some of that hot bean
Yeah,
juice.
yeah, exactly. Alexander might like there's also a case we made for maybe waiting and forcing if you have something that's truly disruptive, getting Fuzzy to commit more to the board before crippling his turn
Mm-hmm.
could be even better. You know, these cards that would otherwise be used as pitch to pay through frostbites. Well, hey, if we get that nimblism now, committed to the board, all of a sudden, Fuzzy has a little less to work with. It's an important decision here for the Icelander player because it's a tightrope being walked, and the Briar player is really threatening to break the bonds here of a lot of this taxing. So Briar still has a lead in life, having like a semi-successful channel mount turn, like getting to hit hard with that Autumn's Touch and draw a card was nice. It's a force of nature. You're kidding. Okay, embodiment created. No fuse on this, but still threatening to draw a card if Fuzzy hits. Because the next attack will get buffed by 6, and Vor is in the tank.
Is this just a psyops play?
I think he's just making an embodiment of lightning.
yeah, he's just making a embodiment of lightning and making Alexander Vor.
He's got to know. He's got to know. Like you can't do anything else here.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's gonna chain like frigid. It's just an interesting play that he's trying to. He's like,
You can't
what?
deploy an attack action. You
what
can't
if
pay
I-
for the damn thing.
What have I missed? Is he about to do something incredible?
Yeah. Cost -1 comes in for 4 go again. How about them apples? Yeah. Resolves.
And pass. Wow. Yeah, that's a rough hand.
Well, the fear of God in him. Don't worry about it. Yeah, for a second.
Interesting. I mean, I guess, you arsenal the Force of Nature, hoping you drop to have another kind of pop off channel mount heroic turn, but
I mean, it's not that the hand that Fuzzy drew up. Premeditate, Pulsar Candle Hold, Force of Nature, and Arsenal.
it's Sigil of Suffering.
Absolutely horrendous.
This is pretty bad.
Horrendous.
Pretty bad. I mean, he's
And it's a
holding on.
stumble that may represent a real inflection point in the tempo game here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if he doesn't get a single card out of it,
I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, when I played Fuzzy recently, his first hand was so horrendous. I actually swung into him, got 2 Dawnblade counters because he had this hand that just didn't block. He just looks at me like we tried to filter his hand and ended up with like 3 Tome of Harvests in his hand. When he tried to come back at me on turn 1, and he so he just passed. I'm like, oh, you're dead. So I've definitely seen him be afflicted by some poor luck. Obviously, good luck got him here alongside some great gameplay, but that's a tough hand to try and make a stand on.
yeah. I mean, that's what sets apart the best players is how they navigate when the luck runs out. If he can hold true, make some good decisions where he can, and find his way back into this. He's not out yet, but he's in a precarious situation for sure.
Okay. Aether Hail with your Encase pitch.
could be a lot worse. That's interesting. He's keeping so many cards in hand.
Something is straight chilling in Arsenal too. So again, it's still a bit concerning, I think, looking at your Briar opponent with a full grip plus an embodiment of lightning. You know, there's a lot they can do from that position. Plus, Snapdragon Scalers are still up. Fuzzy doing some quick maths. 22 minus 4 is 18. For those keeping track at home. Yeah, so like that Lightning Surge feels way better with that embodiment of lightning in play. It doesn't feel like this awkward card you have to like finagle into your arsenal to sort of be above rate on. And Waning Moon here, also probably within expected parameters for Fuzzy. It's a question of, do I preserve life or do I try and go for it now?
Yeah, I mean, I think when he didn't pitch an ice card first, he's thinking Channel Lake Frigid is going away, so...
And that's 3 CLFs gone, because there's 1 in pitch on that turn. So
yeah,
no more CLFs until the bottom of the deck for Alexander Vor.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty huge for Fuzzy right now, because that's really been holding him back. I think he's likely... I mean, he pitched a Mount Heroic early, too, so he's got one more coming somewhere in the deck, but then the other one in the second cycle. So that will be, you know, what he's looking for. I mean, it always feels like it comes every couple turns, so we're likely to see it soon. But, you know, for now, we'll just take the damage and get go again.
It's awkward because if you play Scar after the Lightning Surge, you won't have go again. So it doesn't feel good having double go again and losing that embodiment.
Yeah.
But that tells me straight away Fuzzy's just going to tuck that Lightning Surge away or end the sort of chain with it. So it's fine. Doesn't feel amazing. Fuzzy doesn't want to be lower in life, yeah, but that's just the way things are right now.
Yeah.
And it reveals a minimum of information, I think, to Vor. You know, it probably says actually, oh, he's like wasting his embodiment of lightning, you know, wasting with air quotes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He must have plenty of go again.
Yeah, he doesn't care enough to, or, you know, he doesn't have to worry about it, so he's just going to play this.
So Vor's wondering, what's next?
Yeah,
what else has he got
next,
that he can just keep going with here?
Am I looking at
what's the top
12
8?
to 16 damage?
We can show you top 8 real quick. Just after this block. We'll show it for you in just a moment.
Oh.
Okay, Ice Bolt there coming out. There's your top 8 here. 3 Icelander, 2 Briar, 1 Dromai, Phi, Levia. Okay, Ice Bolt from Arsenal here, and a Frostbite coming down.
And this sink below. Not bad.
Yeah, eating it up with a sink below. So decent time to part with that one. 2 cards left in hand for Alexander Vaughan. Has been expecting more to come, but just how, if this is like a very Cheerio turn from Fuzzy, then this Frostbite is really annoying.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, it could prevent a whole extra attack. But Vor only has 1 card or 2 cards left. So here we go. Yeah, no, he's like, I got blues. He's got a decent amount of blues in this deck. I think they're like 17. So
now, okay, this feels totally fine.
Yeah.
Follow up the Ravenous Rabble with a Rosetta Thorn Strike, pocket that Lightning Surge, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, 15 damage, easy.
Yep, great to, great to obviously show a swarming off the top of the deck here. So Fuzzy, it's got to feel good about this. He knows this.
Yeah, this was a good comeback turn after a pretty disappointing last.
Yes, absolutely. Still above that like insta-kill range. We've gotten through all the Channel Lake Frigids for now. You know, there's no other disruption on board, no Insidious, and I don't see anything Ice Fan in handy for Alexander Vor. So it's not like on the next turn cycle he can just throw that at Fuzzy and mess with his hand. This is go time.
Yeah, I think this is his window. It's all about whether he sees it or if Alex can draw something else that can really mess up Fuzzy in his next turn, because it feels like Alex might not have his own turn.
Alex is under pressure now. The remainder of the hand is not good. It's a Polar Blast and like an Ice Bolt.
Yeah, and he has another attack with Gogan and then Rosetta Thorn. So I mean, we might be looking at 19 damage, which would be nuts.
What a time to find a hand like that, especially after a very dodgy.
It was bound to happen, he had so many bad hands. The good cards are all just clumped up together.
And it gets better because we're just going to pick this Swarming Gloomval off the top with a go again card in Arsenal. Yeah, plenty to do next turn, that's for sure. If I could draw an advantage bar, I'd probably give it to the Briar here, just a little bit. 2 card block is the question from Alexander. Do I just preserve life here and try and buy some time to come across some more disruption. Not a simple decision by any stretch of the imagination. Vor's also considering, the threat density remaining in his deck. He's blocked with a couple of those 8th Ice Veins. He also knows he's a long way from that next Channel Lake, as he pitched it of his own volition.
Yeah, hasn't set up much of a board state outside of that either. Frost Tech's getting pitched, and I think Insidious Chill as well. So he's got to do this the hard way. Raw power.
All right, we are taking it, everybody. Bam, 7 right to the dome.
All right. Asking the question of what's next.
You can't. There's no way you throw this Lightning Surge and snaps, right? There's no way you get that freaky. Yeah, okay. We're not that freaky. That's good.
He could have, though. Like, if he did 4 and 4, put him to 1.
Take him to 1, I would, yeah, that would be
That might be a little greedy,
very rude, yes.
but it could also, potentially just give you that.
I
edge
find
and,
that
like,
Snapdragons gets better and better the longer you hold off using it, I feel.
yeah.
Not in every case. If you end the game with it still there, then it's probably bad. But all right, what do we got here? Swarming, we've got a Bramble Spark and looks like
Earthlore
2
Bounty.
blues here. So this is probably a turn where you can get both modes of Swarming turned on, 2 out of 3 modes at least. You're probably going to be pitching for a Rune Chant. First Coronet pick though, so we must deal with that. That is a red Earthlore Surge, I think. So decent candidate to send away.
Earthlore Surge, that's what I meant, yeah.
So Fuzzy forgot to create the embodiment, but it's not a beneficial trigger necessarily. So I think you'll have to you'll have to put it into play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that's Alexander Vor's springboard into the turn. Or no, okay, judge there. He's happy with this to proceed as it was. So
Was it the Anthem
Fuse
of
Bramble
Spring?
Spark. Fuse Bramble Spark, yeah, Anthem of Spring being used there rather. And the Lightning Surge comes in. So hey, let's get a buff. Let's ping you for some arcane damage. Let's present a lethal attack.
Ooh. I mean, you always got to count Storm Striders as potentially like 6 arcane damage.
Yes.
So it's always a question of can he do, 6 plus 10. And that's pretty tall order, I think, for Icelander without, Frost Hexes and Ice Eternal set up. So definitely not a comfortable spot.
This is scary. I'm scared if I'm Alexander Vor here. This is
Fuzzy looking cool, calm, and collected.
because what ended up going to Arsenal? Ice Bolt? Was it the Polar Blast?
No, I think I just saw the polar play. Yeah.
There's an Emeritus Scalding in hand here. Does Alexander Vor have the time? Arctic Incarceration as well. A little late for that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get in the tank. This is the kind of scenarios where we see a quote-unquote premature Storm Strider activation.
Yeah, and I feel like Alex knows that. He's got 2 cards in hand, and you've got to assume maybe one of them could be a blue, if not both. So that's a tall order because that means he's trying to get around. What was that 22 damage, which is not the easiest thing to do without any of that board state. Definitely a tough spot.
Really, really relevant that we're able to fuse a Bramble Spark for that extra 1 Arcane coming in. It's a card that Vor can't be using to block. Has to pitch that away unless he just takes it. So that split damage here is actually really annoying. The same could be said, of course, of a potential Rosetta Thorn swing with a Rune Chant made up there. So here's your Ice Bolt. Let's give you a Frostbite. Let's try and slow this down a little bit. Let's try and put the brakes on this train before it starts to run away. You might be saying, take this damage. Don't AB any of it. Use my... Is that swarm? It's a swarming, of course. You had to follow it up here. So you can take this and then swarming and swing that Rosetta Thorn. I think Fuzzy says, yep. Serve it up to me, baby. I'm taking it. Vor, okay, there's just maybe a decline on the Metacarpus node. Because technically it triggers every time you throw this.
Every time. Talishar, you got to say no. No, I don't want it.
In terms of the life total accounting, that's up to the players down there at the table. I think we're linked into whatever life counter app they're using. So I try not to get too swept up in that, as the game state tends to advance while we're dithering over whether they're the right kind of life. We'll know when they do. Sorry, Anthem Spring getting pitched here to say, I will pay 1 for my Swarming and then 1 for my Rosetta Thorn. Can you get out of this alive? I don't think you can get out of this alive.
He's got 2 block on his crown, right? And 1 block on his tunic.
Okay, you have some block here. That's fair.
Still not a good spot.
No, I mean you still got 8 damage coming after this. So what's that? 8 minus 3. That's 5.
That's 5. That's what he's got.
That's what he's got. Anyway, this is Alexander Vol we're dealing with. This is not your garden variety Icelander main. We are talking cage free. No, free range. Organic. Fair trade. Serious business Icelander player.
Okay,
We're talking a 50% markup at MSRP Icelander.
I think the life totals got fixed.
Okay, so Fuzzy 11 here.
Oh, wait, no, maybe not.
All right, block with that Singleton Ether Ice Vein and the Coronet Peak, blocking 5.
Wildfire.
Excuse me, yeah, Wildfire. I'll get an embodiment. Alexander Vor has 1 card left.
Oof.
How do you stop 8 damage with 1 card? You have the
Quick,
tunic.
let me do.
You have the tunic.
Let me do the math.
You have a tunic to throw in front. Here comes the Swarming Gloom Veil. This should just be 3. It's just the 1 aura creator this turn, right? So
3 with go again, yeah.
3 with go again. No embodiment of lightning here, so it's an easy block for
So,
Alexander.
yeah, I think he's safe
I-
because he can block 2 arcane.
Yes, with the 2 float, yeah.
Yeah, and he has the
He's
1
nice. He has
block
the 1
on the
tunic.
tunic. So I think he can go to 1 here, but he's not going to have a turn, which is going to be pretty rough.
I think that's the Emerit. Is that the Emeritus Scalding in hand, or did we think the Wildfire was a Scalding? That might be more likely just based on the border. Very uncomfortable. We'll call it the squeaky bum time for the Icelander. As all matter of thorny apparatus are being trained on Alexander.
And if it's a block for 2, it is. I think it's a block for 2.
That does not feel good at all. Oh, you still survive. Yeah, it was a cold snap. So, okay, we get 3 block there and then throw the Rosetta in. Block the 2 Arcane, take 2, go to 1.
Oof.
Fuzzy Delp gets to turn around, wind up for another Haymaker to try and end this here and now. And Alexander Vol goes into the next turn cycle without an arsenal. He is going to be leaning on the contents of the hand he draws up at the end of his completely empty turn. And I can't see how that's supposed to be enough. How do you find 11 damage between Storm Strider's activation and a Waning Moon?
Yeah. It's not a good spot. I mean, even with those 2.
The Sigil of Suffering makes another appearance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Hold on to your
he's
hats.
got a snatch.
Rabble, tops are red. Never punished. Never.
Fuzzy's just built different.
Give
This is how
me
we
2
are.
cards, sir.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fuzzy holding it down for the SoCal region against the invading Arizona Vor brothers. That's, it's a real turn in this match. Fuzzy was in a really bad spot to begin with. It looked like he was just drawing,
That turn, not
potato
drawing off the
hands, yeah.
snatch right, or couldn't arsenal the card he pulled from there. There's some value lost there for sure.
His Channel Mount Heroic pass turn.
Wait, is that Sigil of No, there's no Frost Hex in place, so Sigil is not. It's still a 2-card block, senor.
Yeah, this is pretty rough.
Yeah, look, I've got to say, hats off to Fuzzy. He's come a very long way in a very short time as a player. Alexander Vor, a storied wizard in the Flesh and Blood world, is looking down the barrel of a loaded Rosetta Thorn and a whole arsenal of arboreal threats. And some glowy purple ones too. Because that is another Swarming Gloom Veil into the next hand for Fuzzy.
Wow. Yeah, this was played pretty well. It's very interesting to me that Vor didn't get any board state out really. other than the Channel Lake Frigid.
Yeah, no Insidious chills, right? Yeah.
I think Insidious Chill could have been such a huge thing to just hamper any turn that he could fuse on. But it also feels like his arsenal was kind of off a lot. He didn't quite always have the disruption in there. The fusing hasn't happened all the time, so it's been a bit weird for 4 as well. To be honest, I feel like anytime your deck gets checked and everything's sorted out, you got to spend 10 minutes shuffling your deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like the cards
everything's in order.
always come out weird.
That's my first stop on the Cope Express, to be fair. When I struggle, it's like, I just rebuild the list, so.
That's why I should have shuffled more and better. I don't pile shuffle because I think pile shuffle always gets me.
Oh, really? That? Really? Because I feel like people do that when they're trying to really shuffle.
Yeah, I know. And then every time I do it, I'm like, why are all these cards stuck together?
It is Stoic, Jawline that could cut Diamond, Fuzzy Delp.
He's just thinking about
telling me to give him some damn cards. Give me 2.
Is there any Chipotle left?
How that Kaiser looking after 6 hours out there? Surely still FDA regulation complying with. Surely. We've got boy Sam O'Byrne there just feeling for his fellow Icelander brother here.
The queso is still good. Don't worry. I tried it.
Confirmed. Citadel Permafrost here. That is a 4 block. Gonna pay for it though. Ozzy's like, look at me, Vor. Look at me in the eye when I throw this rabble at you.
Okay. Oh, he fuses. Okay.
Okay.
That's so fair. If Vor can do any other damage, he can create some frostbites. So
but he has to Storm Striders to do that.
It could just be a last ditch effort. If he can Storm Striders, do some damage, give some frostbites. Either way, he'll try to take some cards out of Fuzzy's hand, or prevent him from playing them all.
There's definitely some play to this for sure.
I think it's really interesting. Yeah, it could save him this round or this turn cycle.
A few stats. We're blocking for 4, and I guess Vor has a priority window here to activate Storm Striders to play the damaging non-attack action to inflict the frostbites before Fuzzy's next attack, or perhaps he feels like he can wait. Yeah, okay. Looks like he is slow rolling me. Look, this is a really important decision point.
Yeah, no, this is either his last turn or it's not, based on what he does next. What?
Just a staggering level of insight.
He's gonna die, or he won't die.
We're going back to people die if they killed, are we? It's all come full circle.
Fine, I'll just go eat some cakes.
Factually correct. Yes.
Look, I thought he was just dead no matter what.
Yeah.
But now he's at a point where he might be able to not lose, which you give Icelander a little bit of space. But without.
How about 2 more cards, Mr. Vor? Or what say you?
Oof, and he's got those Snapdragons. Those are real valuable right now.
Is he just dead? Snaps here?
Yeah.
Pitch Rosetta. Their fist is already being extended. And there it is. Fuzzy Delp holds the line for Southern California with a huge victory over Alexander Vor. What a great result from the local player here. And he's got to feel really good. He fights through 2 Channel Lake Frigid turns. Makes some really clever decisions, I think, in terms of allocation of resources, and is able to overwhelm Alexander Vor, the latter who, like you mentioned, Colin, can't develop a Insidious Chill throughout the game. Mm-hmm. Does keep Channel Lake Frigid around for quite some time, but you need just a little more than that. Fuzzy also great discipline, doesn't overextend with like a Snapdragon Scalers play early in the game. Just says, all right, I see this Lightning Surge is going in my arsenal, and then I'm going to make it happen. Fantastic showing. Fuzzy Delp now advancing into the top 4 of your AGE Open Series Players Championship. Let us now circle back to our top 8. That is not our top 8. That's our top 8. Bingo, bango. It'll be Anthony Pham versus Fuzzy Delp. So Fuzzy the frosty reception continues for our Briar player. And on the other side,
I hope
Peter
you like this
Benensic.
game because we're gonna watch it again.
Another Vor brother playing from the other side of the matchup. And if we're lucky, we'll get a mirror in the finals. What say you, folks? It'll be Matthew Vor, Peter Benensic in Icelander versus Briar going head-to-head. Briar still out here, still kicking. Does this event give Living Legend points? No.
No.
But don't you wish it did? Wouldn't that be so nice?
Not yet. LSS, hit us up.
Yeah,
We'll give points away posthumously.
Look, that was a great showing. We're going to have to get Fuzzy in here for a chat. You know, he said it to us. He's pretty nervous going into the game. Hadn't played a feature match before. There was obviously like a little bit of an issue with his play there, where he forgets the trigger, but still able to come through for the win against a player like this. And I think, it's a really important experience for Fuzzy to realize he can hold his own with some of the best here, making it to the top 4 of the AG Open. This is someone who's able to qualify for our Players Championship from one top 8.
Yep.
And then just like really consistent participation throughout the course of the year. So, you don't need to be, winning AGEs to sort of qualify to make it here. What a time, though, to go on a tear right here at the pointy end of things.
If you're going to do it, it should be now. Another level of deep insight from yours truly.
Surprising. So, with that win, Fuzzy catapults himself into at least 3rd or 4th place. That's
$250 right there.
Charging. But, of course, a win in those semi-finals could mean even more than that. $600 for 2nd place and $1,100 for winning. I agree. We'd all love to hear from Fuzzy. We'll give him a chance to, collect himself and come on over the table. But there we have it. The sigil of permafrost there, in Vor's deck. You can see what it can do, but there's no architecture set up around that. There's no frost hexes, and frankly, I don't think you're on a frost hex playing against Briar anyway, right? You don't have to. Do you really have
Probably
to?
not, but Insidious Chill has got to be good. I feel like you see that card, and you're like, I should probably try to play this as much as possible.
Did you see one? I didn't see that. I just don't think you can.
I saw one, and he pitched it, so maybe he just didn't see the rest of them. But yeah, they both kind of had weird draws throughout the game, so I think it was kind of hard to navigate that.
Right.
But yeah, we'll take a short little break, and we'll come back. We're going to talk to Fuzzy.
All right, see you in just a moment.
All right, we are back with Fuzzy. Great game there.
Thanks.
Really, finally, I'm interested to hear on your on your side of it. Did it feel like the cards were just bad on both sides of the table? Because there was some interesting hands there.
Well, I mean, he got Channel like Frigid out twice. There was both times I thought he was going to keep it out a 3rd turn because he pitched 2 blue cards and I wasn't paying quite enough attention. I was ready to have that up a whole nother turn. And then it went to graveyard and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I do kind of get to play cards this turn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he had those 2 early, but then it just felt like he wasn't able to develop a board state. And then, of course, you had probably the most lackluster Channel Mount heroic turn I've ever seen.
They've kind of been feeling like that today.
Yeah.
I have some changes in mind I want to make to my deck list. Right now, I think I just need a few more attacks in the deck that way I can really make use of that Channel Mount heroic. I've been kind of tinkering with it, trying to get it in the best shape possible for today. And it's doing okay so far. I'm not complaining, but there's some changes that I'm ready to make before Nats for sure.
Totally. Generally, going into an Icelander match, what is I'm less familiar with it. So what is their game plan that is really effective against you, and what is what are you trying to do, if anything, different than another hero?
I definitely consider it a bad matchup for Briar.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Briar's cards want to be like played for free or like very specific mana amounts. Like I have Channel Mat Heroic, which costs 3, any more, and that's 3 cards out of your hand just to get it on the field,
Yep.
let alone capitalize on it. Things like E-Strike are really good in Briar because you can turn any card into like an attack for 7 or go again or draw. But now with a Frostbite or Channel like Frigid,
Mm-hmm.
now E-Strike costs a card and a resource. Again, now it's guaranteed costing 3. Briar also has her Embodiment of Earth, which has like a beginning of the action phase trigger, so it can be responded to. So if they want to, and I have the Embodiment of Earth out, they can respond to it right away to get some disruption in.
Yeah.
Like Channel Lake Frigid immediately. Like other heroes, I imagine get to play one thing before the Channel Lake Frigid
Yeah.
comes down.
Yeah.
Not quite an option that I have.
For sure.
So I feel like I've been getting lucky today. You know, I've managed to win 2 games against Icelanders so far, and that's a record for me.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we do have the top 8.
Mhm.
And it's looking a little samey, you know. We're basically gonna watch the same match 2 or 3 more times, depending on how these shake out. I know
That's really
Anthony's
funny.
running like a slightly different Icelander build, or maybe Peter was. I forget. One of them told me this morning that their build was a little different, but
I got to play Anthony in Swiss,
okay.
and we even talked about the little match talked about the match a little bit, and I think that did help me prepare for this match against Alex,
Nice.
where I kind of knew what to expect, knew what my power cards were. I think there's a thing or two I'm going to try differently against Anthony for the next round, and hopefully it pays off. Hopefully I can continue getting lucky.
You know, it's luck's a part of it for sure. We also read that you did qualify for nationals. Congratulations! Are you taking Briar to nationals as well?
That's the plan.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, definitely the only hero I have enough experience with to take, really.
I mean, comfort does a lot. You know, you were just in kind of like a high pressure stream situation, which you haven't done before, and it can really throw you. So being able to fall back on some of that like natural like learning and just know what you're gonna do rather than be trying to figure out the most optimal thing all the time, I think is really useful for a lot of players. Awesome. Well, I think we're excited for the next couple rounds. I mean, it's gonna it's gonna be the same thing. So I'm really curious how it shakes out differently. But
Yeah, hopefully Matthew Vore wins. That way I have lots of content I can watch to master the Briar versus Icelander matchup.
Exactly. Yeah. This is just a master class in
Yeah.
how to play Briar into Icelander or vice versa.
This is how we get Briar to LL.
It's
is
you too.
You get a lot of practice on her worst matchup on stream, so everybody can see it.
Yeah. I mean, if the two of you can pull it off at nationals, there you go. Well, I'm sure a lot of people will thank you. Awesome, man. Well, it was great to talk to you. Anything else you want to shout out your podcast?
Yeah, we've got like 15 to 20 regular viewers each week so far. We're just launched our podcast a month or 2 ago. It's more about design than competitive play.
Oh, cool.
So if you like the idea of like custom card ideas or what LSS might print in the future by reflecting on what they've done in the past, that's generally what our podcast is about. And we try to keep things like pretty professional and structured, and I'm really proud of what we've been able to produce so far.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I had not heard of it, so I will definitely check it out. Excited to hear it. I love game design stuff too, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see some content coming out in that area. So thanks, man. Congrats. Good luck on your next round.
Oh, and you can find it on like all the podcasting apps, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast.
check it out. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back
Thanks,
in a
everyone.
few minutes. Frank, I'm not his son.
Yeah, and it's like I honestly like here's a this is not spicy, but this is a scoop here, and they're gonna know who it is, but whatever. Don't buy a pack of Alpha. Welcome to Wraith for any price less than like $50, because the people you are just building up money in somebody's pocket, and they're just sitting on stuff. I know you probably want a pack of a chance to get a legendary. Don't buy a pack of Welcome to Wraith for $100 when you're in Baltimore because you want to get a chance at it's not going to happen for you. Oh, I can get a cold foil scotch. Not
Buy a bunch of scratchers and then
come
use
on.
the profit
Go play
from
poker if you want to make money on a card game.
That's
like,
true.
why are you and like I think one thing that buyouts are doing that I really hate about this is I am encouraging people to join this community and join this card game. And whenever you say, don't worry, tunics are $375. Like, you're just like, Jesus. They used to be 110. I get that there's more players. But like when somebody says, "Oh, I opened up a tunic." Great. I can sell this to someone for almost $400. It's kind of gross because I'm not trying to be charity where we give these cards away to new players, but it is kind of like a homie discount type of thing, or welcome to the community. Here's a tunic for 150, 170, like a price I've paid in the past. I'm not saying lose $200 on this because it's market value, but when we run ourselves out of players that come into this game because it's so expensive, we're all going to be looking at each other 2 years from now being like, I wish we were playing more Flesh and Blood. And then the 16 people that have mansions will have mansions.
Just Scrooge McDucking their cards
Right.
in their giant vault filled with cold foils. You know, I think this just, reiterates the truth of Tunic was a mistake.
Right.
And the biggest mistake that they can undo in this game.
Right. And it's maybe like sell your tunic now because they're going to ban
Sell now.
it soon
Make
or whatever.
money, man.
But I
You
think
know-
if I can soliloquy and aside or go on a tangent here,
Preach.
this is kind of like LeBron James.
Oh, it is exactly like why.
LeBron James showed up to the NBA, and the NBA worked a different way before LeBron James showed up. You play for an entire franchise until they get you better players, and then when you get a better player, a second in command, you probably win. But he was like, I don't want to wait for that. I'm going to go do this on my own. Super teams exist whenever. Yeah, there's the Showtime Lakers that had a super team before, blah, blah, blah. But he was like, I'm going to make super teams, and I'm making the NBA cater to my stuff because I'm buying out. Like, it behooves the NBA to cater to me because I'm the star player. Star players in our community is people who have a bunch of money. But once LeBron plays for 20 years, and then he like ruins the NBA where it caters to him, and then what's left after LeBron retires of now everyone's just used to super teams, and now we don't have the NBA like we used to.
You lost me at sports.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But I will agree that I don't like buyouts, and I think if cards have value, they will have value intrinsically and don't need to be forced by buying them out, making it harder for new players. I think, it's hard enough to get new players into this game. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. And it doesn't really help. And if you're trying to make money, that's great. Go do it somewhere else.
I haven't completely rolled my eyes on any of these topics yet, so I'm very worried for what's about to happen next.
It's fine. I just like that I've been hot and heavy with you in it.
Yes.
We're feeling it today. This is barraging
The double-sided beatdown.
Blake and Colin down.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Okay, In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. I've had both. I've had one Whataburger.
What are you about to say, Colin?
I love In-N-Out.
Well, that's very diplomatic, I guess.
I feel like Whataburger had all these choices and I didn't know what to do, and it was just like, okay, I got it.
Which at In-N-Out, they eliminate choices.
There's no choice. You get it
eat
animal
what you
style every
like.
time.
Yeah. We'll give you the only thing we have.
What is your opinion here?
It's interesting here. In-N-Out is better than Whataburger.
Is that
Allegedly.
what you're saying?
No, that is what this screen says.
This screen right here.
This screen right here. In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. These are two things. Whataburger hands down in the chat. That's the first time someone said anything. I'm from Texas.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting close. We're getting close. You want to know why?
Close to the very end.
Because we're getting close to the end. Look at that segue. It's the semifinals, everybody. I'm Sam O'Byrne. This is Blake Myers.
Blake.
It's the first time we've gotten to hang out all day, and we're so excited to bring you the first of two semifinal matches, both of which are going to be streamed. It's going to be fantastic. And we've
LL
got
points given out.
Nope. No LL points.
Dang
given out.
it.
Because you want to know why that's a factor here is because we got two Briars in this top four.
Jeez.
We got a Briar versus an Icelander and then we got a Briar versus an Icelander, and that's what we're
Is
doing.
that really what's happening?
That's what
gonna,
we're doing.
We're gonna do deja vu all over
We're-
again.
We're gonna do deja vu all over again. It doesn't look like I have everybody's
Oh,
thing.
there's a second.
There's another one.
second
Oh, there it is. Because we got a couple players for you here. One of them, Matthew Vore. He has got a 73% win percentage here at the AGE 2 top 8, sneaking in near the bottom of the rankings at top 14. But top 14 don't matter when you're top 4 of the tournament. He is excited to clearly watch the Scourge of Pasadena. He's been playing with the experience. Seems like a cool dude. I don't.
Yeah, he's very cool.
You know him well?
Just from talking to him once and then after he's very smart. I think there's a layer of like we're all pretty good at card games if we're doing this, if we're spending a lot of time on Tuesdays and showing up on the weekends. But I think he's somebody who's like intelligent, wisdom, all those.
Wow.
Where you're like, "Oh, I don't want to play against you in
Yeah.
sealed or something."
Book
'Cause,
smarts
Yeah, I
and
need to
street
have a
smarts.
game plan to beat you.
Understood. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the game because they're going. They're going right now. We've got Peter Budensek on Icelander Stormvine versus Matthew Vore on Briar Warden of Thorns, and it's time to get into the match. We have if Peter wins, that's when we'll get to show his cool
Okay.
hero card.
The 6 versus the 7, they hit fists. I think as Icelander, you used to always want to go first so you could get the card into Arsenal. When did that change? When we went to Wounded Bull stuff?
That could be. Perhaps you don't want to give Briar the tempo here of going as fast as possible on the second turn when the blocks matter a little more. Here we go. This is the beginning of the game, though, because Briar on the play here. Matt Vore going to potentially resolve a Channel Mount Heroic on this first turn of the game. That's a pretty good setup turn. Going to pull up that back into his hand. He does have the Earth cards to pay for it. He's got the Gloom Veil, which is a fine arsenal target after a Channel Mount Heroic turn.
You definitely jam the Channel Mount Heroic because there's no disruption yet. Like, it literally cannot be disrupted unless we use our Get Out of Jail Free card to Storm Strider on turn 0, which would be the dumbest thing ever. Like, I know Peter has literally played Icelander for maybe a week and a half, which maybe we're doing, wow, Icelander is a really good deck right now. Or maybe Peter is like, you know what, I'm a really good player. I've seen the results given out. I talked to my friend and teammate Majin Bey so I can get the inner circle mindset of this. And it is kind of interesting to see him like avenge an earlier loss of beating Andrew Rudin. He lost to him in round 1 and then beat him in top 8.
Yeah.
So Peter's a good learner, is what I'm saying.
Learning on the fly.
But has he played a Briar? And I think he has played a Briar today.
Well, he's certainly playing one right now. You can see Matt Vore going ahead and motioning towards that armor block because you want to make sure you get as much value out of it as possible, given that it's not always entirely clear when the attacks are going to be coming in physically.
Right.
A lot of the arcane damage present within these Icelander decks. That's the constant. It's the variable is all the different attack actions that they could or could not be playing. So he's going to go ahead and put 4 block in front of it with the Carapace and the Grasp of the Art Knight. Looks like it was an attack just for 5 here. So we're just going to arsenal the blue card in our hand. It looked like it might have been a Frosting. Both those equipments getting the -1 counter, but just utilizing the equipment there. So Matt Vore here, he has a 5-card hand and a Channel Mount Heroic. Let's see what he can cobble together with it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Time to go all gas, no brakes.
Bramble Spark. Oh my gosh. Chris Ollie looking on over his shoulder. Is that good with how bad Chris Ollie's luck has been recently?
You think he might be rubbing
I would be
that
like,
luck?
go sit by Peter. Crap in my style. But on Peter's side, the judge.
And look at that. We are going to go ahead and get both of those Enlightened Strikes.
Oh,
as the
that's so
Sonata
good.
Arcanix X equals 1 here
Right.
is going to go ahead and hit. So we're getting 2 Arcane coming across and that embodiment of Lightning, that Enlightened Strike now representing most likely 8 and draw a card with Go again on this turn. So Matt Vore setting himself up quite nicely to continue what is already sure to be a big turn. And he's already got 1 Earth card in the pitch.
For everybody at home, Sonata is a card that you can pitch into, and you're looking for half attacks, half non-attacks. It's something where it's either the worst card ever because you whiff, or just literally zoom ahead of your opponent, and Matt hit the gas on it.
Yeah,
No, break.
no breaks. Now, taking a look here at these first couple turns for Matt, I don't think you could have sculpted it much better. You got a Channel Mount Heroic going first on the play, your Sonata hit
Right.
giving you an E-Strike after an Embodiment of Lightning. Like, everything is coming up for at the moment.
And right now, if you're Peter, you're like, does anybody have a Kit Kat? Because can I get a break? Break me off a piece.
Looks like we're going to bottom that second E-Strike.
Oh, wait, he was waiting. He said, you thought I was waiting to disrupt you at the worst possible time. As soon as you finally decided to give me something, I'm going to screw it up.
And yeah, Matt here had the option of putting the E-Strike or that blue on the bottom of the deck. Potentially, if you keep the E-Strike, you can E-Strike again on this turn. But Matt Vore, you talk about him as a smart player, heads up, keeping the blue for the potential disruption. And Blizzard is certainly just a blue check. It says, do you have a blue? Because you need 2 resources and then another resource for the Frostbite that's coming afterwards. So this is going to be going ahead and being blocked for 6. So this E-Strike connecting for a fair amount of damage here, and we're going to continue the turn with the Swarming Gloomveil, spending 1 for the Frostbite. We have 1 more to do a 2 and 2 after all this is said and done.
We're swarming. Yeah, and seeing 2 Command and Conquers go as blocks, that's a good... I'll do that any day, because then you can feel great about putting a card in your arsenal like, this is not... We're not going to have this blow up anytime soon.
So this turn so far, that Bramble Spark was 1 Arcane. It was +3. We went a Enlightened Strike for 11 because of the Bramble Spark and the Channel Mount Heroic.
Sonata had 2 Arcane.
2 Arcane, Swarming Gloomveil for 7, and then a Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2. So you can do that math, but it seems like a lot.
35. How is Peter even alive?
Ooh, and he did get, and because he kept the second Earth Blue for the pitching for the
like he kind of lucked into like, go ahead and Blizzard me because that almost helps me like be able to pitch all this.
Yeah, he kept that. He kind of like hid the information, keeping that second blue Autumn's Touch. So now we've got a second Channel Mount Heroic turn. You put it very, very astutely. Peter desperately needs a Kit Kat.
Yes.
My man is looking for a break.
Yeah. Dude, somebody get this man a 4, what are they, crisp rice with chocolate over them.
Mm-hmm. Crisp rice? I don't think
It's kind of like crisp rice.
No,
in
it's
there
not.
Somewhere.
It's not. It's like they're like wafers.
Oh, Oh, crisp rice is crunch bar.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking about food other than Chipotle these days because we've been on Chipotle food for 8 hours. It feels like we're in the penitentiary almost. This is Anthem of Spring, a brand new card from Dusk Till Dawn. What does it do?
It's going to give your next attack +1, but if you block with it and another card, you're going to get an Embodiment of Earth token. So that card can immediately block for much more than it does. And by much more, I do mean exactly 1 more with the Embodiment of Earth. But this time it's coming in for its offensive side. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Coax Commotion. That's going to get blocked out for 4. Or actually, it's coming in for much more than 4 because
8.
of the Channel Mount Heroic.
That's why we get
but
the
we've
second 4 block.
Look at this. This is 2 4 blocks, and go ahead and try to cover that all the way up, which I think it will. And then the Frosting coming in, representing the need for
He's
another
like,
pitch.
I'm disrupting you. Here's a frostbite. And it's like, okay, I don't care. Like, I've already played a non-attack action. I've played an attack. You're definitely getting Rosetta Thorned at least. Maybe I can fit something in between. The Exude Confidence is a fantastic card. I wonder if you keep the Tome of Harvest to try and go off a 3rd straight turn. Absolutely no way you can keep the Channel Mount up either.
It looks like we are just going to pitch away the Tome of Heart. Now, this is just going to be, and I say just, but it's a snatch for 7 with no ability to get the go again. So 4 damage coming through, bringing Peter all the way down to 15 to Matt Vor's 38.
That is crazy. Like, I don't care if you've been on Icelander for 6 years or just a week and a half. I don't want to see a Channel Mount Heroic and just a Frosting and a Frosting as my disruption. That is not good enough.
Nope, certainly not. Certainly not.
Like, you need an Aether Ice Vein.
And unfortunately, that big blizzard that he was attempting to stop the earlier turn with, not only was there a blue to pay for it, but it was an Earth Blue, keeping the Channel Mount Heroic around. We've got another Bramble Spark being fuged. Earth Lore Surge, going to make the Embodiment of Lightning. Another attack coming in with Go again on the turn, and it's going to
Oh,
be the
baby.
Exude Confidence. So when this hits the stack, once it moves past the layer step, we are not going to be able to do any instance or anything like that because of Exude Confidence texts. There's no arsenal here regardless, so we're going to go ahead and, after the Earth Lore and the Bramble Spark, how much damage is it? A red Earth Lore? Is it coming in for +5?
You better believe it.
So +8, +12.
I think Exude Confidence is like one of my favorite cards that just is not getting into lists for many heroes, because it's like I would love for a hero to come out that like that's a really good card for them.
Yeah. I mean, so I just got to say, that was followed up by the Rosetta Thorn Fort 2 and 2 Peter Budensick all the way down to 6. This
Right.
is just revenge of the Briars right now. Briar coming out and forcing, I'm still around, I'm still legal.
There's some disruption. The Kit Kat bar falls in the form of a Channel Lake Friendship.
Going to go ahead and
If
tax
you're
the
a,
rest of the
if
turn
you're a
here.
fan of saying that, or Channel Lake Frigid for brand new players, it is a card that no matter what you do, Matthew Vore, we're going to make you pay 1 extra. The first thing is going to actually be 2 extra because here's a Frostbite. So this is going to cost 2 to Nimblism, which in most things would be awful, but this is fine. We can make a 7 damage Coax a Commotion.
Peter here looking at the cards he has left to block with. You know, he, unfortunately, because he had to block with that, he didn't have to block, but because he did block with the Coronet Peak, it's going to be very challenging to keep this Channel Mount Heroic around. 3 damage, though, coming through with the Tunic. You can Tunic.
Hell yeah.
You can Tunic into 3 damage here, so getting Matt down all the way to 34. Unfortunately, Peter Brutus
Damn,
is
that
sitting at...
was take that, Peter.
No, that's just
You're
unfortunate.
dancing on his
It's
grid.
just unfortunate.
Oh, you got him to 34. Nice try, dude. Doesn't Icelander start with 35.5 health, basically?
I mean, basically.
That's crazy.
you
Where it's
round up
like,
to 36.
I can do 30 damage to you before you do 6 to me. When is the last time you did that to somebody in Flesh and Blood?
Peter going to go ahead and take, use all 3 of his cards to block. Unfortunately, the Channel going to die. No arsenal here at all. Briar has a 5-card hand to work with. Going to see if Matt is going to be able to get Go again here, utilizing any effects like an Embodiment of Lightning. I'm not sure if he's running any Razor Reflexes, but how about this Lightning Surge out of the arsenal? Going to go ahead and be 4 with the Go again. Peter looking like it's going to be tough to pull this one out. There's a block for 3, 1 damage coming across. This is I think you put it well. It's a beating.
Yeah, Anthony looked over and he was like, am I going to have to stop playing my Monopoly deal game early? Like, come on, guys. Thought I was going to be able to have fun and rest for 20 minutes.
Here is this Exude Confidence. So once again, once it hits the stack, unless Peter is able to throw something like a Wounded Bull on top of it, there's going to be no instance. And with 3 cards left in hand, you have to imagine Matt Vore might have the ability to pump this up and continue the damage or increase the damage output on this card, potentially enough to just put Peter out of the game. Going to buy 6 block out of Peter here because of that threat.
Peter needs 4 non-attack actions in Matthew's hand.
And
Is that possible to have happen?
we are seeing 2 blues be pitched into it, so the Exude Confidence there going to get 2 damage across. Peter Budensick on Icelander here going all the way down to 3. Matt Vore sitting pretty at 34. Looks like we do see a Razor Reflex in the hand, so that is part of the deck. Could
Oof.
be exactly what you need to finish this one out.
Goodbye.
Oh, and does he have another Lightning Surge from his arsenal on this turn? My goodness.
I hope Peter doesn't feel bad about this game or feel shook or like, oh, I could have done. I
This-
don't think you really could have done anything.
Matt Vore here has the option to attempt to push for the second light for the Razor Reflex. If there's no other
That's just
defense
it.
reaction in the game, that's 3 damage coming
Ar-
across. There is no defense
arrivederci.
reaction. That is the game right there, folks. That was absolutely brutal.
You could not have made a Stouffer's lasagna and the amount of time it took for him to get cooked. Peter is less than a Stouffer's lasagna for cooking time. Sheesh. Dude, there's a pop-off going on. Somebody's what's funny about this
There was a
tournament,
pop going on right here.
There's a little bit of like, we're fun, we're having friends, we're all good.
Mm.
So there's a little bit of like cheering on somebody's death. There's like, oh, it's hilarious. We got our judge coming and going in. What the F was that BS? And just triple cussing. Yeah, just do that at do that at Nationals 7 times, Matt, and get
And
this
then you're
hero
done.
out of here.
Briar holding on for dear life into the classic constructed format and showing what is possible. This is a hero that historically One Frostbite really gave some real struggles
Right.
to, and we saw that
Here's
even in
Anthem of Spring, and now you're fine.
yeah,
Another blue.
great Earth
Yeah.
blue, something that is it Earth? Is Anthem of Spring
It's Earth.
My goodness.
Do
Yeah,
not worry. We're going to be able to keep that land channel up.
yeah, I mean, you look back at the literal Worlds finals between those two heroes, and with our very own homegrown Chris Ayali battling up against the
Right.
Icelander, but Icelander they're pretty easily able to take down the deck at that time. Looking
So-
like it's going to be a little harder for the deck in this tournament as Matt Vore heads on to the finals.
And we just saw Fuzzy beat Vor,
Mm-hmm.
then Vor beat Budinsek, and now we're going to see another Icelander versus Briar.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4 Icelander versus Briar games in a row for
That'd
this
be
top 8.
crazy.
That's what it's. I mean, I guess,
Unless Fuzzy does
Unless-
it all over. Fuzzy Wuzzy was.
and then we could have just the 2 of the 3 Briars from this championship tournament. All 8 months leading up to this come down to Briar versus Briar, which I would not have expected.
And then that means there was a joke earlier that had a big pop where it was like, Ayali's the only Briar that didn't make top 8. So that was funny. I don't know if that's exactly true. There was 3. Yep.
Yeah.
Whoops. And so I think what's interesting is our friend Tyler Horspool came on Fi,
Mm-hmm.
but he won an AGE Open,
Mhm.
the 6th one on Briar.
Mhm.
So I always wonder if that's a thing in people's head where it's like, here's a hero I'm more familiar with that I love, but I'm not going to play them because I think it's a bad meta call. And then they end up winning the tournament, and you're like, God, I need to stop overthinking this and just play my favorite hero
Yep.
and just pop off King.
Yeah, that was. I mean, talk about a pop-up. I don't know if
No.
Briar is Matt For's favorite hero, but if it was, she certainly delivered for him.
I mean, Matt Ford could not care less about Briar. I think I think he's just like, well, I mean, Channel Mount Heroic does this. He loves the old man. He loves some other stuff. You're gonna talk to him.
I am.
Go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna see him in 45 seconds. I'm gonna disappear and become a different guy from Arizona.
Well, just like that, you heard it here first, folks. We'll be right back with Matt Vore, and then the second semifinal before the finals of the AGE champions here. It's all led up to this. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
An 8th month saga concludes.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Players' Championship. I am here with one of the newest stars of one of the final movies in the Fast and Furious franchise, Matt Vore. Congratulations on your casting in the film based on this last performance.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're excited to be with Vin Diesel and drive the cars really fast?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to me about how you did that and the amount of like skill and preparation that went into crafting those first couple of hands?
I think honestly, any like mid to high level player would make relatively similar decisions to what I made throughout the game. The only I think the biggest decision point in my game, even though it didn't seem like a big deal, is when I paid two for Sonata, drew 2 cards, and they were both E strike, and I was thinking if I should sink the E strike or the other blue in my hand, and I was thinking like if I draw another attack, if I sink the E strike, I'm fine anyways. So I was like, I'd rather play the safe player and play around Blizzard, and he ended up having Blizzard, which was just amazing for me because I got to keep Channel Mount Heroic out, as well as still attack and present swarming into Rosetta, which was just
Huge.
insane.
Yeah, absolutely huge. That was the moment we talked about as, you know, already you hit off the Sonata, big.
Yeah.
Off the Bramble Spark, big.
Big.
This thing is going to come in with Go Again already, big.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
then having the ability to pay for the Blizzard with a second Earth Blue was just, I mean, backbreaking.
exactly. Like a lot of people easily get blown out by Icelander. Like for example, if you go back to that exact play, I had 1 floating, and if I ended up sinking the blue instead of the E strike, all of a sudden I lose Go Again. I lose the 6 damage or the 7 damage I would have had from swarming, and then the 4 from Rosetta. So I mean, even it may not seem like a lot, but I mean, Icelander with 11 health is a lot. you
Yeah,
know?
well, and it can be enticing to think, ooh, I got a second E strike out of this with Go Again if I keep the E strike.
Yeah,
here."
exactly. It's sometimes against Icelander specifically, it's better to go for the safer play of like if they have this exact punish, then I'm not completely out of the game, or they don't completely like gain a bunch of life for no reason essentially. Like I thought my turn was good enough. Even if I drew, it didn't like I could have drawn any card off each strike. Cause like if I get to arsenal it or if it's an attack that has Go Again, like obviously I get a plate and stuff. But I just wanted the guaranteed value of being able to attack for a total of 10, I believe it was, or 11.
Yeah, which
So.
is, I mean, it worked out in your favor. So
did.
as you were saying before we went live, sometimes all you have to do is kill your opponent.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you have to do is play your cards and win.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the first Briar Mirror or the Briar versus Icelander game we've had today that's ended that quickly. Normally it's more back and forth,
Yeah.
and that Icelander actually has some play in the matchup.
Well. Looking ahead to the finals, you've got an Icelander or a Briar. This has been literally this whole of Top 8 stream has been Icelander versus Briar, Icelander versus Briar. So you have an opportunity to play into either one. Call your shot now. Who do you want to face?
I would like to face Icelander, not necessarily because I think it's a better matchup. I just want, for those who don't know, Anthony is part of our team, and I want him to see him do well, you know, and it's not anything against the Briar player. But I mean, he beat me in Swiss, so maybe there's a grudge,
Yeah, maybe
a
there's
grudge
some-
match in the finals.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get one of those.
Alrighty, well, you heard it here first, folks. Matt Vore wants Anthony Pham, but we're going to see in just about 2 minutes if Fuzzy Delp has anything to say about it. Congratulations again,
Thank you.
making it to the finals. We will see you all momentarily for the second semifinal game. Don't go anywhere.
It's second semi-final time here at the AGE Open Series Players Championship. I'm Mitch Leslie, joined by 3 Floating's very own Sam J. Oben. Nice to be here with you, my friend. I mean, it's been pretty intense. That was the fastest game I've seen all day, and one of the most disgusting turn 1 damage outputs I've ever seen from a second Vor brother to be in the top 8. That was disgusting.
It was shades of the semifinal from the World Championship when Chris Iali just went absolutely nutso on Dan Rutkowski. That is this is a deck that with an early Channel Mount Heroic just has the ability to blow their opponent out of the water. And it's just like Matt Bohr said it when he walked in. He was like, sometimes you just got to kill your opponent. And that's that.
Oddly enough, it's the same 80 that Iali's playing in. I think it was Alexander Vor across the room yells at Chris, why does your 80 look better in the hands of someone else? So plenty of banter going on there. But yeah, pretty filthy stuff. And, Peter, not a whole lot he can do. Let's set our sights forward, though, because I think this matchup is a lot of fun, especially because the two players are really quite well acquainted with each other. Let's jump into this here. Anthony Pham. I guess leader of the experience. I don't know. He's the guy that drives everybody everywhere. This guy, he's so funny. When we like sort of trade cards, buy cards, he won't do the deal unless I come to locals, sign up, play round 1, and then it's on. He's really big on the community out there in OC Team Honda Pilot, that's right. He carpools, he drives players to events. He gets them to come to his house and he gets them in the car. One of the biggest proponents for the Flesh and Blood scene in the Southern California region. So I love whenever I have a chance to highlight this guy. Incredibly kind individual. He delivered me so many brutal beatings on the battlefield, though. This guy is the real deal. And I think it was the Battle Hardened, right, where we saw Anthony Pham, feature in the top tables, and I think in that grand final on Lexi's. Very quickly, we're going to head over to his opponent, of course. It's Fuzzy. Fuzzy's able to, he made one top 8 here at AGE. He managed to get through Alexander Vor in a fantastic game, one that had a lot of really important decision points to get through, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at his win percentage, his top 8, getting into the AGE at the 13th seed. We're able to see that these players, it's not just about the players who won the whole thing. It's not just about the players who were top 8ing every time. It's about the players who showed up and played a lot and had consistently good results. 48 win percentage over the course of like 8 months is nothing to scoff at. And we get to see Fuzzy punching his ticket into the semifinals as a result of his consistent play, and it's going to be another Icelander versus Briar. This man has only played Icelanders and Briar the entire tournament, and he's been taking Icelanders down left and right, so it's going to be interesting to see how he takes on the semifinal.
Really gets the game plan. Let's talk prizing very quickly here, and of course a huge shout out to our sponsor, Collector Legion. We're here at their venue out here in Redondo Beach, so come by. I mean, I've had an absolute heck of a time. I've been buying singles. I've been hanging out. I've been playing Monopoly Deal. It's a fantastic store. Great people down here. Do come by if you are in this area down towards Redondo Beach. And I play my Pro Quest here. I usually get one Pro Quest I can play. I usually come down here and do that. So make sure you come and check the place out. Let's waste no more time, though. Again, this is for the top 2 place. So you go from 250 to 600 minimum in terms of prizing if you get there. Your second semi-final is about to get underway. It's Fuzzy Delp on Briar Warden of Thords against Anthony Pham. Shout out to all the mothers out there. That's his middle name. Icelander Stormbind.
Absolutely. A couple heroes technically from Aria, though only one was in the Aria set. Icelander sneaking into the Uprising format as the lone Aria hero of that set. But a couple talented heroes from the Aria region are extending the fist bump here. It's time for equipment to be set up, weapons to be equipped, and a semi-final game 8 months in the making to get underway.
Don't look in Anthony Pham's eyes when you play against him. You'll be charmed instantly and figure how to play Flesh and Blood. He's so well drilled. In fact, when we play locals, he banters so much, and he takes you out of the game with the banter. It's so funny. Like you really, I had to take it so seriously to try and like not punt against this guy. We have Shock Charmers here for Fuzzy Delp, so we've got that Spell Void 2 on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if that is a key to how he's been taking down these Icelanders throughout the day.
He didn't play it against Alexander Vor. He played a Grasp. So he's switching it up here. The strategy is evolving as the day goes on, but this is something that Alexander Vor did not have. An Insidious Chill for Anthony Pham straight out of the gates. That is an ill-omened for our, Dryadic Druid over here.
Absolutely. Both of these decks have the ability to just establish an incredibly important, quote-unquote, permanent if they get the turn 0. Normally, sometimes turn 0 is just about doing a little bit of filtering, trying to find an arsenal, but both of these decks have the ability to find something really critical in the Channel Mount Heroic, in these Insidious Chills or Frost Hexes, and Anthony, because he's the first seed, electing to go first and able to establish the Insidious Chill. So a really excellent start for him. Let's see how Fuzzy wants to respond. This is going to be Enlightened Strike, coming in for 7 2 cards in hand in case of any arcane damage coming across.
Yeah, and maybe just not over the moon about the texture of the hand is Fuzzy. I think I'm seeing a Force of Nature. A Force of Nature, and that's a Swarming Gloom Veil in hand here. But again, like, doesn't really have the resources to deploy any of this in the way that he'd like to. So fair enough. Anthony Pham says 7 damage. That seems reasonable. I'm gonna eat some of this. Block with that Warmonger's diplomacy, and I'm gonna be eating 4.
Anthony Pham heading on down to 32 from his starting life total of 36. He does have the Heart of Findall in his hand that is going to be immediately pitched for an Aether Ice Vein fused with the Blizzard. And because we have another card in the hand, the Blizzard doesn't have to hit the arsenal here, which is critical because Blizzard's not always the card you want in your arsenal. You can play it at instant speed anyway, and it's not going to turn on the waning moon.
It gives you a frostbite.
Yeah.
Wherever it comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It doesn't have to come from the arsenal.
That's it. And so, but this Aether Ice Vein, this is like a 9 value swing virtually because it's 5 arcane damage. You gain a life, and then you threaten a card, right? Some of that will be eaten up here, but pretty nice to just put this out on the table. And you have the compulsory trigger, of course, of that Insidious Chill. So let's add some more value onto there. Remember, Insidious Chill, you want to be getting 3 cards worth of value off that. And Anthony Pham's more than happy to allow this compulsory trigger to occur. And we know what Fuzzy was working with, right? Looks like another E-Strike, another Nimblism. He put this swarming in Arsenal, so that is a Force of Nature in hand, and then another card that looks to be a red as well. Not the kind of turn where you want to be facing down 2 instances of discard unless you pay 2.
Yeah, and also figuring out how you want to navigate the damage because you have to figure out if you want to discard a card or pay. And these Briar decks, they don't always have a lot of blues. We were talking in the last game how much of a difference Anthem of Spring has made as not only an Earth card, but an Earth blue that has the ability to just randomly get you an embodiment of Earth, but is also more than that, just a blue that the Briar deck is happy to play. Before it was really just Autumn's Touch and the Force of Natures as these Earth blues, maybe an Earth Lore Surge, but the Anthem of Spring doing a good job of gluing a lot of these decks together. But first, before we think about anything else, we've got an Insidious Chill that we have to deal with. Looks like we're going to be discarding perhaps the Nimblism for the trigger here. Yep, that's going to be the Nimblism heading to the graveyard.
So the reason why Shock Charmers most likely comes into this matchup is it might be because Fuzzy is expecting less of this sort of physical, these attack actions from Anthony Pham. He has them in the list. They're in the sideboard, though. Of course, you can bring 3 winnables and 3 finals Fighting Spirit. That's it, though. There's no like Command and Conquer or anything like that Anthony is looking to lean on. So it's definitely more, I guess, more arcane heavy in that sense. You're in cases red winners by red sigil of permafrost and a crazy brew.
Yes,
in the deck.
Yes, the crazy brew. I'm not sure Anthony has gotten the chance to actually deploy it at all in the tournament, but it is registered in the 80, and I know it's something. It's part of the reason the gambler's gloves are in the list. But we do have the embodiment of Earth here because it's the start of the action phase. It is a priority window that the Icelander is going to get to respond to, and the Cold Snap from Arsenal here is going to be relevant, targeting the Arsenal before Fuzzy has a chance to play. It's one of the best cards you can respond to an embodiment of Earth with is a Cold Snap.
The taxing is extreme. You're paying to have access to your arsenal, and then you have a frostbite after the fact here. So this very quickly is going to start muddling the mixture for Fuzzy if he wants to have any kind of turns that command attention from Anthony Pham.
Yeah, and critically, because those 2 cards in hand left are both red, normally you'd love to be able to just throw that E-Strike out, perhaps 2 for 7 again, but instead we have to pitch the E-Strike away because of that critical Frostbite from the Cold Snap here, and now this is just going to be a Swarming Gloomveil for 3 because no embodiment has been made, and it looks as though before that happens, we're going to go back. Oh, because it was because he didn't pay for it, it's frozen.
Yes.
Of course. So the Cold Snap resolution there, meaning he can't play the card from Arsenal, so we have to pitch the E-Strike instead for the Ravenous Rabble. A little bit extra damage, but something that Fuzzy was hoping to keep in his arsenal for later.
Yeah, pretty punishing. It's very difficult for Fuzzy to present really very much damage at all, and Anthony Pham is quite happy to take a lone 4 here, especially if he can deploy more of these Insidious Chills, perhaps. Maybe even send an attack action across the table and still be able to arsenal. Okay, Winner's Bite. We talked about, in the past, Icelander having some difficulty making use of a full hand. But you see Anthony says, I actually do want to do this. I want a Winner's Bite. And then, I think there's like an Aether Ice Vein there with the Fuse Fodder in hand in the form of the Cold Snap. So it's a pretty frightening turn, that.
Yeah, we've got another Cold Snap that's going to be hitting the Arsenal at the end of this turn. It's going to target down at what we, weren't supposed to know, but do know that is a Swarming Gloomveil in the Arsenal. But first, we've got another Insidious Chill trigger. We've got another Aether Ice Vein. Now, Fuzzy sitting at 31, not too low yet. And these Insidious Chill triggers, once they're gone, Anthony
They're
does have
gone,
to find a window to resolve a second one. But if you can take enough cards out of the Briar player's hands here, you're not going to be under a lot of pressure and can hopefully actuate your game plan.
I don't want to understate how important and how scary Anthony resolving Insidious Chill on turn 0 is. That is just it's the dream, really. It doesn't get much better than that. Getting to set up a permanent on that turn 0, you can't ask for much more there if you're the Icelander player in this matchup. And it means that the hill for Fuzzy to climb is that much steeper here. So the Insidious Chill trigger was a discard of Ravenous Rebel, and guess what? That is a Anthemous Spring and a Lightning Surge in hand. So we're going to probably eat 1 damage and pay 2.
Yeah, critically, because we do still have the Arcane Barrier 1 on the Crown of Dichotomy, that is an option. We could AB the full 3, but then we have to discard another card to the Insidious Chill trigger.
Yeah.
Not going to be worth it for Fuzzy here. So the Embodiment of Earth, again, these embodiments, normally so good for blocking, but are always giving the Icelander player a chance to respond. And we've seen it before. Let's see it again. Here's a Frostbite, Cold Snap coming out of the arsenal, targeting.
Good time walked.
Yeah, once again, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Because I don't know if it's a blue in hand, and if it's not, we're just going to freeze.
The Lightning Surge in hand.
Yeah. So we're frozen.
You can't even pay that. You can't even play that thing. You're just going to pitch it now.
Yeah,
May as well.
pitch 1 Arcane Barrier in. Yeah, very fascinating. Just a couple brutal draw sequences there for the Briar player. Got to shout out the Attack Action Podcast's Frozen token.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely lovely there.
Shout out to Taylor Isaac. Colin Honeyman, of course, our very own, is also a member of that crew. Oh my God, this is not getting any easier for Fuzzy. Another Winter's Bite. So being forced apart with a Sigil of Suffering, which, hey, you don't really feel like you need in this matchup, but that one, that's scary. Another Aether Ice Vein comes in, and that's that third trigger from the Insidious Chill. Fuzzy just looking to the skies for some sort of salvation here, because this man is about to get put in the ice chest. Now, what do you do about this? You discard the Scar. You try and eat up some of the damage with the last blue in your hand here. You're left with a East. You can't. You've got to keep the Scar. You've got to keep the Scar.
There's no embodiment trigger on this turn. So yeah, you're going to be able to resolve at least a card before a Frostbite comes down, but we are once again going to discard the Enlightened Strike to the first trigger for the
And he fused with an Insidious Chill.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I was about to say. So we were talking about finding a window to resolve a second Insidious Chill. How about immediately, when you take all of the cards out of the hand with an Insidious Chill plus the Aether Ice Vein, here's your window. 1 card in hand for Fuzzy, 4 damage coming across. Maybe that takes a block, but once again, here's your opportunity to resolve a second Insidious Chill easily from the arsenal.
So what I'm actually looking at here is whether Anthony has the kind of hand that makes use of multiple action points.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like it. You probably just give a sink below here to this and deploy the Insidious Chill, and maybe tuck I guess you have a Winter's Bite in hand, so you can continue to pressure the tempo away from Briar when it comes to the Icelander's turn. This is, I don't know how you can ask for much more than this in the Icelander's position. You're chipping damage really efficiently here. You have a D-React that just completely covers this up. You know your opponent probably can deploy from their arsenal another attack action. That was the swarming that we knew was there. So you're not going to get an Embodiment of Earth here, I don't think, if this just gets sunk. And how the heck are you playing the swarming anyway with a Frostbite on the field?
Yeah, it's going to be currently an uphill climb for Fuzzy, but these Icelander decks, we have seen 2 reds and a yellow of the Aether Ice Veins already used. We have to find other fused targets to get the most use out of this Insidious Chill. We haven't seen any attack actions, I don't yet believe, from Anthony Pham, so perhaps siding some of them out, or they're just closer to the bottom of the deck than the top. But this is an attack for 4. Technically has go again, but the Frostbite is going to have something to say about that.
Anthony's holding the sink below. I think that's a sink below. He's probably holding it for like a break point here, but he can't sit on it for too long. At some point, it's going to be a matter of just he's wondering, like, is there a snatch in Arsenal or something like that? Like that's what he's probably concerned about.
Yeah, I mean the sink belows can be so critical for something like a snatch, but at this point in the game, do you want to put it in the arsenal?
You can't play it anyway. Fuzzy can't play a snatch here. So.
Yeah, you got a Frostbite. It's like, do you want to save it for something better, quote unquote? But at this point, where you can sink a card that frosting away, that doesn't really do much for us.
And
go ahead and grab.
Warmongers.
Oh, interesting. So the Warmongers here, either of those, unless that's the Red Winter's Bite, looks like that could just be played, and then the Warmongers goes to Arsenal, which isn't.
Would you? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it is the Red Winners. It's definitely the Red Winners.
Do you not want the ice? Yeah, you want the Frostbite right off. Well, I guess the Frostbite off of the the winner's bite play, right?
I
think
can't
that's
tell, but if it's the
higher
red, I
value.
don't think I can't tell if it's the red. If
Oh,
it's the
right,
red, it's
yeah.
chilling in the arsenal for the end of the turn. But
That's
both players
true.
here are going to go ahead and pick some modes. You have to imagine. Now, Fuzzy does have a Channel Man Heroic in his hand, so perhaps he picked Peace and is looking to just set himself up. The answer is no. This is going to be a Scar for Scar with Go again, so he definitely chose War. Because if he chose Peace, once again, would be cheating.
I mean, if I was in his position, I'd be choosing violence at this point. This is
You'd be-
getting really.
yeah, you'd be
for legal
frustrated.
reasons, that's a joke. But I'd definitely be, feeling the pinch right now. That's a blue winner's bite, by the way, for Anthony. I'm pretty sure he has 3 of each.
Right.
The 3 reds are in the sideboard here. So, right. So Scar, you might be right. Could be a red one if Anthony is just sort of allowing this turn to transpire.
Now we're going to see. Looks like he was valuing that Warmonger's play, but here's 7 damage. Now, all of a sudden, we've been talking about how Anthony has been in the driver's seat all the whole game. Both players here, Anthony at 22, Fuzzy at 23. Not too much time has passed in this game. The clock is lying to you, and now we're just going to come out with the blue Autumn's Touch.
Autumn's Touch.
Because we're going to get that Channel Man Heroic in our arsenal, try to set that up for ourselves later for the Briar player here. And all of a sudden, again, this is not like, it's not like Icelander is upset to be in this position. Icelander is a deck that is going to try to bring both her, try to get both players down to around 11 or 12 and then win off the Storm Stratus. But Fuzzy really putting himself kind of back into this game with an aggressive turn off of the back of the Warmonger's diplomacy.
And yeah, that call of the red winners by an Arsenal means that Anthony couldn't really do too much about it. Fuzzy also says, okay, well, I can't play Channel Man Heroic this turn. I suppose I'll just pocket it.
Yep.
And now we see this red winners bite being deployed. Fuzzy, though, probably doesn't have the grandest designs for his turn. 3 Earth cards in his hand.
So, yes.
Way. So, I mean, maybe he just, deploys the CMH and hopes that's enough. Oh, this hand's about to get shredded.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen one winner's bite be played. Here is the I think second or third red Aether Ice Fiend fuse. So we've got the Insidious Chill, we've got the Aether Ice Fiend, we've got an Aether Hail that's going to threaten a Frostbite. And
Is that only the third? This is the 4th Insidious Chill trigger we've seen.
Yeah,
this game.
there's been I think a yellow and 3 reds played, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's it's a lot of damage coming across, a lot of discarding, a lot of fusing here. But again, for Fuzzy here, perhaps he's content to just resolve that Channel Man Heroic and try to set yourself up for one turn that's going to be big enough to kind of put yourself back into the game and really pressure Icelander's life total on one large turn.
I suppose the issue here is that, a lot of discard unless you pay 2. I think you're fine. Like, you can... is it sufficient to just play a CMH pass back? Is that enough?
I mean, here's the thing. Again, the stuff's face up right now. You know that's a blue Aether Hail going into the arsenal, so you're going to probably eat 5 for your trouble, and you have 5 coming at you right now. The question is, do you think you can put yourself in a position if let's say you take another 4 here, go to 19, take the 5, go to 14, but you go to 14 and then have a 4-card hand with the Channel Man Heroic. The question is, are you going to have enough resources to pay through any further disruption that happens after the Aether Hail turn? Looks like we're going to go ahead and AB to some of this.
So we have
Ice Vein.
2 Earthlaw Surges and a So tomorrow in pitch here for Fuzzy.
And critically, no embodiment of Earth on this turn for the Briar player here. So this Channel Man Heroic is going to be able to be played without any
huge.
problems. I'm completely. What am I talking about? What am I talking about?
He did.
He
with
attacked
that
with like 3 attacks.
3 attack.
Yeah. So Sam, relax, calm down.
I don't blame you for getting excited to see Briar maybe break the shackles for.
Have something here. But now because of this embodiment of Earth, there is an opportunity for Anthony to put a Frostbite in the way of this 2-card hand. Oh, he's thinking about it. I mean,
he's gonna do it, man. Oh, here we go. Here is an 8th Hail. Here's a Frostbite coming right at you, and Fuzzy does not have a mechanism to avoid. Oh, he was not going to play a CMH.
Yeah, he was seeing the writing on the wall.
I guess we thought for some reason we thought there was a 4th Earth Blue in their hand.
Really felt
unlikely as that was.
Yeah. But Fuzzy here going to have to take the damage, go on down to at least 20. So kind of reading the writing on the wall, realizing not going to be able to deploy the Channel Man Heroic on the turn due to the embodiment of Earth. But now we see just a hard cast action phase Channel Lake Frigid saying, you get a 5-card hand, but what can you do with it through the Frosty Lake?
My goodness. All right. Well, Fuzzy's going to have to figure it out now. It'll be, I'm paying for this nimblism.
Pitching away a Pulse of Candlehold, which is not a card you necessarily always see.
Old school, I feel
Yeah.
like. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. Then you put that, take cards from your graveyard, put them back on top of the deck, though. Definitely can be a very powerful effect. So Fuzzy trying to probably draw out the rest of Anthony's disruption here.
See if, yeah, exactly. Try to bait something in the middle of this nimbleism before we give any attack the +3. We are pretty darn sure that the Channelman Heroic is sitting in the arsenal for Fuzzy Delp.
That's another CMH in hand for Anthony Pham as well.
CLF.
Leftmost. Sorry,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, CLF.
Yep.
Leftmost card there. Also looks like another Aether, Ice Vein, Brain Freeze. All the tools you need there to cook up something pretty dastardly.
Yeah, Fuzzy really gonna need to find a turn, to find a moment to breathe, to even be able to play the Channelman Heroic, and then from there you have to be able to make it work through any and all disruption. So kind of a tall order for the Briar player here.
Yeah, we're dealing with Fuzzy wants time to fight through this disruption and find a way to put some pressure down.
Meeps.
Okay, yeah, let's send our mischievous Meeps across the board here. This is a bit of fun.
Yeah, Mischievous Meep's going to get buffed up by the Nimbleism, coming in 4/5. If it hits, going to draw a card because the Insidious Chill is an aura, not an item. So is the Channel Lake Frigid, an aura, not an item. So the Meeps are not going to be able to be mischievous and steal an item, but they will be mischievous and steal a card from the top of the
That's like hack apart, hack through, right? The yellow attack action.
Yep.
That lets you blow up auras
Mhm.
based on how much damage you do, which is really nice. But
Yep.
yeah, no items here still. No amulet of.
No
Ice anymore.
Amulets
Yep.
anymore. I missed
Not
that card. I missed that card.
That was pretty degenerate. That was pretty. Fuzzy again. Really trying to study the ceiling here. A real Sistine Chapel of gaming, if you will.
Look to the gods for wisdom. It's like in Queen's Gambit.
Exactly. The problem for Fuzzy is that normally you'd say like he's been able to fight through two CLFs, two Insidious Chills, and you think, okay, you finally have got there, but like you'd be getting chipped down the entire time. Icelander's walking those life totals down progressively, and even having the shock charm is really good here. But it's unlikely that Anthony Pham is going to go for a kill turn when he's at risk of dying if it doesn't work. He's probably going to have a robust enough life total here. Fuzzy, a great patience, so I'd like to sit on this Channelman Heroic. There's no chance to deploy it, anyway. So we're going to get some blocks here. We get some equipment from Mr. Pham.
Yeah, I mean, and now that Coronet Peak is gone, it's going to make paying for any potential further Channel Lake Frigids a little tougher on your own turn. But we have the Rosetta Thorn going to connect for the 2 physical. Two of the Arcane is going to get a bead.
Yep.
And then at the end of turn, we're going to go ahead and Ice Bolt. We have the Tunic up, so this is going to be a total of 6 damage here on the turn. So Fuzzy, it was feeling like he was starting to close the gap a little bit. But perhaps this is going to be where Anthony just kind of puts himself pretty firmly in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Maybe it as well, but you fight through this current CLF. But like I said, the next one, the next one is really going to get you. I think that's what is being thrown into Arsenal there. Unless Anthony, yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't even have to use the Tunic for the Waning Moon on the turn because of all the blues in our hand. So now we have it available for the CLF CLF 1 card CLF and 3 damage. So before the Gorganian Tome resolves, gonna see if Anthony wants to deploy anything.
Yeah, I mean, again, Fuzzy didn't develop a embodiment of Earth token. All that damage was blocked out, which you'd probably feel pretty good about. But again, quite often Briar is opening her turns with the non-attack action anyway, especially if she's on a hand that consists of more than 2 cards. So you are invariably going to give it a window for your opponent. Yeah, Fuzzy just sees the writing on the surface of the lake, I think.
Not any walls here. These are frigid tundras in its place. We're going to draw a card now off the Gorganian Tome. We've got a Frostbite on the field.
You drew Premeditate off that Gorganian Tome.
So Premeditate going to threaten the Ponder, but not going to be able to give any arsenaled card plus 3.
Say, unless you're getting the CMH out of Arsenal,
Yeah.
that Ponder isn't going to matter so much.
So Fuzzy Dale Pierce sitting at 10, Anthony Pham 18, Icelander versus Briar in the semifinals of the AGE Players Championship. This tournament series been going on since January, and we have got a number of turns left, and then one more game before one of the 3 players remaining in contention is crowned a gosh darn champion. 8 months in the running. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's been 6. Not just SoCal. We've had people come in from Vegas and from Arizona as well. People have been traveling here to to throw down with the very best that SoCal has to offer. Fuzzy now getting to count himself amongst them after this fantastic run into the top 4. Here we go. Premeditate being paid for. Dearly, might I add, giving the embodiment of lightning here. So paying 2 is Fuzzy for that effect.
Now we're going to clear the Frostbite, no more disruption, and now here's a Lightning Surge going to go ahead and get the go again from the embodiment of lightning. We do have to pay into that.
By the Should be pumped by the premeditate, no?
No, premeditate pumps from Arsenal.
Ah, of course, that's right. So
If the attack comes from Arsenal. So this one's just going to be for the 4. We had to pay the additional resource. We have the go again. If we can, if the card in our hand is yellow or better, then we would be able to pay for the Rosetta Thorn here. Looks like they're just confirming about what would happen. Grabbing the Ponder as a threat, unless he just took the damage. Perhaps he did. Yep, he just went ahead and took the damage. So we have the Ponder token now.
Fuzzy's been hoping for a Waning Moon activation so we can get this gosh darn Sigil of Suffering out of his hand, I think.
Looks like the Ponder token going to resolve here. Looks like... Oh, they're going to wait. Oh, because priority, yes. We can't Ponder yet because Anthony had that tunic counter
Yes,
up.
he's like, oh, thank God. Get rid of this bloody bit of detritus that's been clogging up my grip.
Tunic counter here, going to buy a Waning Moon activation for Anthony Fuzzy, A being 1, so taking 2 should be down to 8 once they update the life totals, but now we've got a Brain Freeze fused with an
there are
Insidious
so
chill
many
trigger on the
targets.
back.
Oh, God, you could have, I mean, yeah, Fuzzy Delpa's got Channel Mount Heroic and Arsenal 1 in hand, and even the Earth Blue here, but he's running out of time. He's going to lose one of these zero-cost attack actions. It'll be the... Okay, we've got the Insidious Tool Trigger first, by the way, and then you lose it. Yeah, hand getting torn to shreds.
And then critically, because it's the blue winner's bite, you can pay for the Waning Moon for keeping your Channel Lake Frigid around. Without the Coronet Peak, you have to find a way to do so, but a Brain Freeze fused into a Waning Moon is just about the most punishing way to do so without the help of the Coronet Peak.
Just masterful.
Yeah, 2 damage here coming across. Fuzzy going down to 6. Both these players sitting at sub 20, but Anthony Pham with a resolved Channel Mount Heroic, a card heading to the Arsenal, and his opponent at 6 looks as though once he draws that correct sequence of powerful damaging spells to plop in the Arsenal and use the Storm Striders on, that's going to be all she wrote, folks.
Yeah, Cold Snap here to replace itself. I mean, the Spell Void 2 does mean that Anthony can't just, like, force something. Not that he ever would, but he can't force, like, a Storm Strider's activation here and throw a damaging spell plus Waning Moon. Where on paper, that might give you the 6 damage that you need, but, we're playing the longer game here, so... Cold Snap, not irrelevant, locks Fuzzy's Arsenal down. That Channel Mount Heroic that he's been sat on for a long, long time and is going to die on that hill.
It's in jail, and it's been in jail.
that hill will be his can, unfortunately. We have pitching here, of course, to the Arcane damage, Waning Moon.
Yeah, Dyadic Carapace here, a really powerful card. And
that's time walked.
Yeah, that's the turn. that's the full turn. The Frostbite there going to really put a complication on top of the Channel Lake Frigid. No Mount Heroics have been played, much to Fuzzy's chagrin. But now we've got Anthony. What can he do with the action point here? We see an Encase. Looks like that's going to be fused, so threatening to freeze up the hero and equipment.
Fusing with the Channel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
This has been a couple games of a certain player on a certain side of our screen just drawing some really powerful combinations of cards back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, the timing's been really good for Anthony. He's been able to sort of, and he's tried to dig a certain degree as well to make sure he gets to these. This Channel Lake goes in pitch here. The Encase, though, is obviously of grave concern. Fuzzy is squarely on the back foot now and even risking leaking a little bit of damage. Yeah, the Shock Charmers provide you with some degree of buffer, but as soon as Anthony is able to draw this up, sort of kill combo up, it's basically curtains here, I think. Fuzzy with a Snatch.
Snatch threatening to draw a card. We do have the Snapdragon Scalers, but let's go ahead and begin the process by putting a Metacarpus node activation on a blue Ice Bolt. So we're going to deal 4 arcane damage, which is going to bring Fuzzy all the way down to 1. And then let's finish the game off with a Waning Moon. That's a fist bump. That's the semifinal, folks. Anthony Pham, the first seed, heading into the finals, taking down Fuzzy Delp. We've got an Icelander in the finals. We've got a Briar in the finals. The Elemental Showdown is not over yet.
That's it, yeah. Captain of Team Honda Pilot, Anthony Pham, turns up in a bowler shirt to every event. He's the dad of SoCal, and what a huge win there for him. I struggle to see the opportunities for Fuzzy to have reversed that situation. We had 2 Insidious Chills. We had 2 Channel Lake Fridges deployed. I think we had 4 Ether Ice Veins, with fuse effects to trigger that. That's one of the most oppressive Icelander performances I think I've ever seen And Anthony, of course, with a smile you can't be mad at, regardless.
Oh no, you really put it quite nicely. He is among the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Fuzzy literally was taking down Icelanders left and right throughout triple elimination, not Swiss technically. I saw some people being like, it's actually not Swiss, it's triple elimination. Okay, through the triple elimination tournament. Yeah, you nailed it.
Technically GSL.
Yeah. But perhaps in a game like that, when you're on the back foot, you have to think about where can I use the Spell Void a little more proactively rather than defensively on one of those Aether Ice Vein turns. Like if I keep getting my hand shredded apart, will I ever find the ability to take a front step rather than just playing, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, please don't hit me? Was there any opportunity to do so? I don't know. Fuzzy's an incredible player and just made an incredible run.
Yeah.
Looking at, an autopsy of the match, you just have that's a question we can at least ask.
I don't think that Flesh and Blood is a high variance game, but I think that sometimes your opponent, when they're able to chain together these heavily disruptive effects, it's very punishing. Briar probably needs like a turn off from that, right? I don't know. Man, even like Cold Snap is really effective against her, right? It's like, it's a Frostbite, and it's like you have to pay to keep that arsenal going. Fuzzy sat on that channel Mount Heroic very patiently. There was no force. There was no like having a turn where all you did was deploy the channel Mount Heroic and then pass it, because there might have been some turns we could have just like forced it in. But it's just so face up to Anthony that he just like hits you with full force of your disruption on the next turn. There is no way you're keeping that card in play. So, Fuzzy's had an incredible showing. I can see like his understanding of the game plan at Icelander is extremely sophisticated by this point. Really understands how to play it out. It's funny. It's been a story of two very different Briar performances over our two semifinals, right? Yeah. One where like the variance of Runeblade really favored Matthew Vore. The other where just the raw power and consistency of Icelander with a little bit of running hot into some of those draws provided a very different result.
Think about that game, how different it is if there isn't an Insidious Chill on the very first turn. It's just an entirely different experience. Sometimes that is just how the cookie crumbles, but at the end of the day, Anthony Pham punching his ticket into the finals of the AGE Championship. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 8, folks, because it's all come down to this. 8 months or some change since January. It's now August. Someone else do the math, because I am just looking at two incredible players, Anthony and Matthew, Icelander and Briar. It's an elemental battle for the ages. It's all come down to this.
Yeah, it's SoCal versus Arizona. The last remaining Vore brother will hold the line going into that final match against Anthony Pham, who had a fantastic showing at battle-hardened LA as well, piloting Lexi at the time. And as soon as he maybe realized that the time was right to make a return to Icelander, he very quickly sort of made that happen. We're definitely going to try and get him to sit down and have a chat with us before we jump into that final game. For now, though, quick break. We're going to reset ourselves. We have another Icelander versus Briar matchup on the horizon. But first, we're going to wrangle Mr. Pham and get his thoughts on how he feels about his performance and also mothers in the local area. So stick around for that. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everybody, here to the booth. I am Mitch Leslie, joined by Anthony Pham. Victor in that second semi-final, advancing to our grand final to take on Matthew Vore, who'll be playing again Briar. Anthony, great to have you with me, man. My goodness, one of the games of all time that was.
Yeah, beautiful.
Walk us through that, because from our perspective here in the booth, it's very hard for us to see like where the options are for Briar to actually start to pressure you back with all that disruption.
Okay. Well, as always, Icelander versus Briar, the matchup is very dependent on that embodiment of Earth.
Yep.
Just because I get a window to respond and give a frostbite before Briar does anything. Luckily, I was able to turn 0 Insidious Chill, so that set up the game plan. I had two random cards in my hand, played the Insidious Chill, and I arsenaled Aether Ice Vein, and that just started the train where I just try to fuse every turn, disrupt Briar. And then I luckily, it got into the cycle where at the end of my first Insidious Chill, I was able to Aether Ice Vein fuse with another Insidious Chill. So I just kept it going, kept the disruption up, and you really just want to limit Briar's hand. That's why the Winner's Bite is so good, especially the
You
red
have
one.
6 of them, right?
I do have 6 of them, but you got to find your opportunities to play them. I knew that Fuzzy was going to be on Dyadic Carapace.
Yep.
Didn't know if he was going to switch back to Tunic, but he ended up being Carapace. So I know that every time I play Coronet, every time I play Winner's Bite, it's going to be one card for sure.
Yep.
You always want to limit Briar to just playing minimal card hands, not letting them set up channel. Sometimes they just have it, and it happens. But you want to do your best to disrupt them. And it just comes from the embodiment Earth. There's so many layers to the game.
I think like the way the game played out may give like an impression to people of like how the matchup feels in general, but you know, like what are your thoughts and how do you sort of feel about how Iceland's position against Briar? Because we've obviously in the previous semi-final we saw a very different story where you know Matthew Vore was able to kind of blow Peter Bedensic out. So how are you kind of feeling? Because you're going into another of these matchups now in the final.
Yeah. So I think Briar's like one of those aggro decks that if they find it, they just have it, right?
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like as an Icelander player, if that happens to you, like you can't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes you draw those 4 cards, no ice cards, no fuses, no anything, and you just have a dead turn, no Warmonger, so you're just at the will of whatever Briar just drew. And that just happens. That's the game.
Yep.
But with your hand, you want to be able to think about what you can do to strip as many cards as possible. And you always want to be able to arsenal an ice card, just give them a frostbite because every attack will now cost 1. They run the meeps down that now cost 2.
Yep.
So, you know, cards like Channel are really
Which is
good.
why you play that Warmongers and instead chose to Arsenal the
red Winner's Bite.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I play both disruption tools, I'm just going to waste a card.
Yeah.
So I hedge the fact that I just can play Warmongers, stop the turn, and now on my turn I can start the turn with a red Winner's Bite to keep this tempo up. Because Warmongers is enough disruption in just one move, right? You want to be able to just disrupt enough, but keep enough tempo to do damage to Briar.
Let's talk a little bit about the scene out here in SoCal. You're a really big supporter and pusher of our local scene. Obviously, like you work at our local store, and I can't buy cards off you unless I turn up and sign up for the local and play. So tell us a bit about like your role in like kind of pushing the SoCal Flesh and Blood community forward, because it's really thriving right now, and I know everyone I talk to definitely would credit you in a big part for that.
Yeah. I feel such a love for this game. I've always been a more competitive person growing up, and I feel like this game has really let me feel that in a way. So I really love playing the game because I feel like it's a very fair game, and it can be an outlet for me to, get off my competitive nature.
Yeah.
But also I realize that a lot of people play this game for fun because they enjoy the heroes, they enjoy the lore, whatever it may be. It's such an awesome game because everyone is so nice. I've heard bad things about other card games. I won't name them, but Flesh and Blood, I've never really heard anything too crazy. Everyone's super nice, super kind. People give bulk away for free just to let people start off commons and rares, stuff like that. So I really wanted to do my part, and me working at a local game store, Kingslayer Games, I'm able to, be a facilitator of that where, if you need cards, come to the armory. I kind of force their hand and be like, come to the armory. You don't have to play, but you can come, get your cards, and then, stay and watch a little bit. So it's kind of mean that I'm forcing them to come to the armory, but, I really want locals to be well because that's how people play more, get into the game. And overall just have more fun.
I was there a couple of weeks ago. We had like over 20 people.
Yeah, that was crazy. I've never expected that.
Which is insane. Look, man, thanks for all you do for the community. It's a big reason why I keep coming back down to Kingslayer and playing as well. And congratulations, bro. Good luck in the grand final.
Yeah, gotta beat Matthew Vore, man. He's a good one.
That's it. Yeah,
He's
apparently.
the Kano guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, don't worry
he's
about
not
it.
playing Kane.
Never seen him play Oldham or anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
that's weird.
Here it is. Anthony Pham heading into the grand final off the back of a great performance at Battle Hard in LA, now in another final. It's going to be Icelander versus Briar coming right at you after the break. Don't go too far. The conclusion of our AGU Open Series Players Championships is coming right up.
Awesome.
are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the finals of the AGE Open Series Players Championship 2023, coming live from, where are we, Lawndale?
8 months of intense competition all leads up to one of our
two
favorite
players.
players from Arizona, to one of our favorite players from California. Let's go relook at their things. Anthony Pham. He was 8th?
He was 8th. He missed a couple, though, I think. So he rolled in on his early.
I love that he said, I'd be proudest of Angel. Gives props to Angel. That's the person you beat in the top 8 today. He's been doing a lot of good stuff. He did lose in the finals of the Battle Harden we had. So this is like a redemption for him.
Yeah, but Brody is not here to
Brody's
take that
not
away
here.
from Anthony. But you know who is here to take it away from Anthony?
Matthew
It's
Vore.
Matthew Vore. Someone out there argued that he is the better Vore, but I think they shared the
Who's
same
to
last
say?
name. So there's bias there. There's
You'd have
definitely bias if your
you'd
name's
have to
Vore
ask.
and you say that Matthew's the better Vore.
Poll all of their family members or whatever. This is a match we haven't really seen too much of today. It's going to be Breyer versus Icelander for the 4th straight time.
Amazing.
Insidious
Amazing
chill
matchup.
placement.
The best thing about this is that it's been an entirely different experience each time it comes on screen. So at least it's not the same as always. We had a blowout where Mr. Peter Butensek, a.k.a. Butenscoot, as I like to call him,
Was scooted out of this
He was
here.
scooted out of here with great haste by Mr. Matthew Vore. And then Anthony Pham took it to, who was he playing?
Fuzzy.
Oh, he was playing Fuzzy and just wore him down with his insidious ice pressure.
So it's kind of like getting a box of fudge
And
where
eating
it's
of it
all
in one.
fudge, but there's a little bit of a different flavor every time.
That's true. Flavored fudge is much like flesh and blood. We probably should reset the game clock just so we know how long this takes. I'm going to, over under on how long this game takes.
27 minutes.
Ooh, Frostex comes out. I'm going to say we're going to 13 minutes.
I feel like you're almost like wishing that was an Insidious Chill, though, right? Or is
Yeah,
Frostex
probably.
still
I'm
good?
just joking around. I don't
Oh,
think Frostex is even. I'm not even sure if it's like part of like the larger game plan against Breyer. I think Anthony just drew 2 blizzards.
Oh, that'll work.
That'll stop the go again. Would you like to go again?
Too bad.
No, you shan't. You shan't not.
Speaking of going again, will you go back to Chipotle?
I have gone to Chipotle. I haven't stopped eating Chipotle since lunch. It's been an Italian lunch for me. And, it never ended,
Wow.
so I'm just not hungry, except for fudge. Ooh, and think below. So nice, tasty little razor reflex from Matthew Vore here. I haven't seen Matthew play yet today, so I didn't know that was in his deck, and I like it. I like it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
And he said, well, thanks for the go again, but I am going to Blizzard this. And Blizzard does say, you won't have an Arsenal card if you want to swing Rosetta. And swinging Rosetta for 2 damage to get rid of an Arsenal, not really worth it.
But it would get rid of the Frostbite.
Okay.
Oh, wait, but no, that's going to go away anyways. I remember how Frostbite works.
They wrote something down, but the lives didn't change. What is real? Okay.
Oh, I already got it. Don't worry, the lives will update live.
Ooh. And it's going to update
And he fuses
again.
it. Ether, Ice Fane.
Heart of Findle. If you're an Icelander player starting out and you really want to be good, Heart of Findle, when do you buy it? 6 months into your career, or go ahead and play Fab for 2 years before you spend a $500 card?
I think you do it when it feels right. You know, there's no right time to spend too much money on a game that you enjoy, except, you know, there is a wrong time is when you can't afford it.
Right.
If you can't afford it, you could proxy it. Just make sure the person knows you are proxying it. But honestly, it's not, if you're just starting out, it's not going to win you the game. So don't worry about it.
You still got to play well for 25 minutes.
Yeah, if you can count on, you know, more than 2 hands, how many times you lost by 1 or 2 health that you would have maybe gotten if you had drawn your Heart of Findle at the exact right time, then maybe you can think.
Yeah, then it's time.
All right. So Ether Ice Fane hits. I think Matthew paid for that like a good good prior.
Yeah,
player.
a good taxpayer.
Yeah.
That's one way you can think about Icelander that's used in other card games is taxes of you're going to have to give an extra little money to this. Jeez Louise.
So we got a Bramble Spark fused, and then Channel Mount Heroic into a Nourishing Emptiness. Is that what? No, it's not Nourishing. It's Exude Confidence. That's the one.
The French version. We're going to hit it with the
Blizzard
you
again.
don't
He's
get
like,
to go again.
Did you like it when I did this before? I will do it again. I'm Anthony Fan.
Here's
I'm
the second one.
built different. He's been sharpening his skills for like almost an hour on Monopoly Deal. So
If
he
you're
knows how to play chord games.
We've been talking about Monopoly Deal a lot. We should tell, like, if you're a brand new Monopoly Deal here, you kind of want to, if you want to play, like, a flesh and blood type game against family members, but you don't have the money or attention span, just play Monopoly Deal against them. And you can, like, counterspell them or whatever, but it's Monopoly money.
It's pretty fun, I'll be honest. All right. So taking a little bit of damage there.
36-25. Looking a little bit like the first part of the Peter game. Hopefully Anthony has the Aether Ice Vein. There it is.
Mount Heroic
in a
does
row.
go away, though. He didn't have the Earth. I thought he did have the Earth pitch. He pitched.
Maybe it wasn't the real color. When is Monopoly Deal top 8? Legitimately, that will happen in January. Like, we are not joking.
I tried to convince all the players to pool their winnings and just gamble it on Monopoly Deal on stream, but they weren't into it for some reason.
I think
maybe
the
they
gambling
weren't
commission would come.
I mean, it's not gambling if they didn't agree to give each other money for winning, right? Is it?
Yeah,
Is
who's
this
to
tournament
say?
gambling? Anyways, Ether Ice Fane, yet again, this card just likes to come in and make you have a hard choice or just take cards away from you.
Did Ford just bin the CMH he fused with?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
he'll
think-
realize in a second what happened with that.
I think he did that by mistake.
Yeah, okay. They're like, okay, I got a little distracted. I've been playing Flesh. No,
But he didn't.
was there not a blue? It doesn't matter what color it is. Was there not an Earth
Earthlord's
pitch?
Surge that he pitched to it? But I think if he didn't perform the action of channeling, like it goes away. Whether or not
Oh,
it's not a mandatory. I don't think it's mandatory, so I think he missed it and it went away and it's gone now.
Or maybe he was like, I really like this guy. Let's give him a little bit of breathing room.
I mean, Anthony is just very likable, handsome guy too.
Always coiffed.
And his great hair, best hair in the game.
This is a good turn for Matt, though. We're gonna try to do some shenanigans with the force of nature. Anytime we hit with a plus on my attack, I'm gonna draw a card, and we have abilities to go again with Snapdragon. So this could be like the start of let me attack a couple times.
Or he could just attack once and then Arsenal and pass. Who knows? We'll see. Oh, coming out with the early Coronet Peak block.
Dude, everyone is like, where is CMH? I don't know, bro. He forgot it.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for Matthew right there. That could have been a much more exciting turn with a snatch coming in for
11. A third one.
Wow. And Anthony Vam just has all the cards he needs to do this 3 times in a row.
But if you play 6 of those, like, it's going to happen. I don't know if he's
I think
doing
he has
yellow as
9.
well.
I think he has 9.
Jeez. I do like the idea of we all have deck lists on our phones in front of us. Exhaustion or tilt?
Yeah, he's got 9. It's been a long day, so I think
This
we
is
can
the
all
time you
relate
want
to
to
that.
be paying attention, though, because it's a $500 game. They both have $600 currently. And this is a $500 championship belt. The envelope is a little heavier for you.
Not a belt, though. It's just a nicely proportioned trophy, which you
First one in
Just
AGE
off-
history.
just off screen.
Yeah.
Just off screen. Not like those little so-calling trophies we used to give out, which were hilarious.
You could fit them in your like thing in your car.
Yeah, fit in a cup holder. I mean, this one might fit in a cup holder.
Coax a Commotion, not a great turn, but it's Anthony's favorite attack action in the game, so maybe he'll take it.
He likes it. Everyone gets a Quicken token. Let's go.
What's crazy is Matt's still up by 8 health. So, like, after all of those, I'm going to send Aether Ice Veins at you and mess up your turn. The turn cycle is not really working out for Anthony because I have AB3 if I'm Briar. So every time you hit me with an Aether Ice Vein, I'm going to just pitch a blue. And then maybe 1 gets through on a yellow, 2 gets through on a red. But you can't kill me with 9 Aether Ice Veins if I have Diadic Carapace.
That's true.
Ice Bolt.
Ice Bolt in a waning moon. Check this one out. I'm going to give you a Frostbite. He's got the Frost Hex on the board. The Frost Hex on the board is great value starting turn 0. I feel like it might be kind of a hard card to get out later in the game, but this just provides like a little bit of extra chip damage throughout the game, which could be very significant by the time we get to lower health.
Another Icelander I was watching today that died, they had an Insidious Chill in their arsenal and were like, I could not play it the last 6 turn cycles.
Yeah.
Because some Alevia was doing so much damage to me
Yeah.
that I just could never pay for a blue.
Rip to John Zapata's
Yeah.
top 8 dreams. But, you know, these are all really great players, so...
Warmonger
Oh,
time.
man.
So now there won't be a Channel Mount Heroic and a follow-up.
We
But-
need, like, a hand sign for war and peace. Like, just, like,
Oh, that'd
give them
be
the horns
sick.
for war or the peace.
It's just a gun
Yeah.
or a rabbit.
And then they got to do, like, 3, 2, 1, shoot! And, like, then they'll do it. Not like shoot, but, you know, like rock, paper, scissors. You can't see the physical comedy I'm providing.
Which Warmongers is great right now because you see the Bramble Spark and you see the Sonata. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna 0 for you and keep my whole hand. We know it's gonna be 0 for 4 because it's Briar. It's just what is the name of the card?
He is at higher health, so he does not have the go again. And then...
And earlier Matthew Vore kind of
Oh, wait, no, he had the Quicken token. Yeah, okay.
True. Gotta pay attention to the Quicken token from the
Coax a
Coax.
commotion. That's what happens when you let it hit. I like that Anthony's got the sleeves with Matt's brother on them.
just look over and see. Hey
It's like,
man,
you know, it's like
that's my
support.
thing.
Yeah. That's my
You think you know my brother? I know. Okay, Channel Lake Frigid.
Channel Lake Friendship. What's a little bit of cold ice between good friends?
Honestly, Warmonger is very disruptive against our friends, the Rune Blades.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that could have been a very strong turn,
turn
pushing
that turn
Anthony
was
to like
bad.
8. Yeah, and he's at 15 still.
I'm wondering if he should have just played like the Nourishing Emptiness and just like pitched his hand to it. Or not Nourishing, I keep saying that. The Exude Confidence
Yeah.
and like pitched his hand to it. But maybe it was all reds.
But he's like, okay, what's the worst thing Icelander can do? 3 Arcane. Well, now I'm just going to go, but now I have to do it through a lake. Like, I didn't think I was going to have to spend all this money on this.
Try doing that through a lake, bud. Come on. Cold
Anybody
Snap.
from the cold states?
He keeps playing these cards sideways, and I think he's blocking. I'm like, what is he
Yeah.
blocking? There's no attack, but no, he's playing Cold Snap from Arsenal, giving
Is
him
there a
Frostbite.
payment?
And then the Snatch. Is that he's got yellow Snatches in this deck?
That was a weird thing. I don't know if they're all playing the same 80 list of all the people that showed up with Briar today.
I do think Chris and Matt are playing the same list
Gotcha.
because the other Vor called Chris out, saying that Matt plays Chris's deck better than him.
Which is, I would cry if that was me. If somebody took my Reinar list and won
No,
An $1,100 tournament, I would be like, come on, man.
that means you had the right idea, but you may
You're
not.
trash.
But yeah, you just as a person are terrible and
Yeah.
don't deserve the money is exactly what that means. No,
Dude.
it just means sometimes there is that little bit of luck factor. It is depending on your matchups. You know, some people come in like Chris this morning and just play 3 Icelanders in a row and have a
Yeah.
really bad go of it. Warmongers again.
That's gross. We're going to Waning Moon, so not only is this going to disrupt, we're going to do a couple damage, but it's not going to keep the Channel Lake Frigid up because the flow is too strong. We cannot contain the flow. 4 ice cards just grab, though. One of them's an elemental wizard card, but
He does have some Earthlord bounties, so at least he'll be able to throw out like a, not a amazingly big attack, but come in for 5. Not too bad. Definitely don't want to like throw out the snatch. Like that's just so wasted.
draw a card to do
Yeah, draw a card so you have 3 cards in hand when you end your turn. Terrible. Terrible. I don't know what's in his arsenal though, so I'm not sure if he has any other options. But here it goes. It's
The
another
other
snatch.
snatch.
Oh my god. He's like, fine, I'll just cycle it out.
Dude, Dennis yawning in the background. He said, I've seen this before.
He's just tired from his skirmish win today. Shout out to Dennis winning on chain over Tiffany on Kano. It was a close one that Tiffany almost had, but she ragamuffin
Got
the wrong
chained.
hat.
This is a Winner's Bite. Winner's Bite has been doing work today.
Yeah.
And that's a red one. We're going to do it again. We're saying anytime Winner's Bite is like the best Intimidate card of all time because it's just going to get cards out of your opponent's turn, whether they need them to block on this turn or attack you back. Winner's Bite is going to basically say, this is the most disruptive thing, like besides attacking for 8 or something. Like getting 2 cards from my opponent's hand for 2 of mine, but I get to draw up and attack you on your turn. It's gross. We're saying somebody was like, hey, man, you couldn't play that snatch. They are yellow snatches.
Another one.
Jeez Louise. What's crazy is they all look like different cards because of the foiling.
The foiling on them, yeah. The foiling and the light comes out differently. That's really funny. Just here, give me your cards.
What's weird is one looks blue, one looks red, and one looks yellow. I wonder if that is a thing that I just haven't been aware of. The tint. He's not playing 9 copies of Winner's Bite, is he?
Dude.
Just get me out of here if that's true. Just 6, right? We're checking? We're checking?
I think he's 6, red and blues. That's really funny. Just so many winter spites. The winter that bit and kept on bidding.
And we know that there's a snatch probably in the arsenal.
we do
But-
know that.
But now this is a time where we could do the thought process of, I'm going to Ice Eternal. If it's in hand, you could do it off of a Stormstrider. There's just no cards to block Arcane with. So this is a susceptible turn. And now Anthony's on the ball. Even though he's 6 life down, he's going to be able to do a bunch of stuff here and then maybe do another spell on his attacking turn
Mm-hmm.
to put Matthew further like, oh crap, I need to block some of this or I'm going to be under 12. He can do his weapon because the weapon happens at instant speed and Warmonger only cares about actions and reactions, I believe. I know there's no non-attack action reactions. That'd be great. No, non-attack reactions would be a sick addition to the game.
That sounds like the most confusing thing I've ever heard.
At instant speed.
And the
oh,
Insidious Chill coming out. Anthony had the hand to support it, and oh god, is he have another one coming? Ooh, he might get 2 out here. This could be pretty brutal, especially considering Matthew Vore is about to pop off with his Channel Mount Heroic turn.
but he's going to pitch the Insidious Chill because you do need to take some damage to get that out there. And there's not much damage left to take. 10 health. We have a Channel Mount Heroic turn. So we need to disrupt. And swinging Rosetta is not good.
Yeah, this is rough. We saw Fuzzy had to do something similar on his first match in the semis, in the quarterfinals, where he played some Channel Mountain Heroic and then swung his sword.
This is like
4-2.
Winner's Bite. Like out of 6 cards played, Winner's Bite's like 5 of them at this point. We're doing it. Oh my God, he's pitching.
All of his
Okay, this is
All right, that's
basically
his
we're
last.
just setting it up right now. 5 Arcane is coming across the board. We're gonna make him discard a card first, and then the 5 Arcane will hit. We're not going to Waning Moon this time because we want the blue spell in Arsenal to kill him on the next turn. We're gonna blue spell from Arsenal and do some Storm Strider stuff. And Matt's just going to go, well, I'm going to attack for like a 0 for 7 because I have a 0 for 4, which is going to get very close.
Yeah.
And so maybe there will be a combat trick where, oh, I do have a Razor Reflex left to mess with you, where it gets dicey on should I block or not. But we're going to move at instant speed and try to get around that.
Yeah, Matthew Vore does run 2 Razor Reflexes, so.
How many cards does he have in hand left?
I don't think he has any in hand.
No, well then it's over if he has none in hand, because that is a Emeritus Scolding. Emeritus Scolding would do 4. The Arsenal card would do 2, and then Waning Moon is 3. So you're off by 1.
Oof.
But you have your arms, so you could bump all those up and just kill him. 2 of those 3 up and kill him. So if there's literally no cards in hand, it's over. Except we're pitching. Maybe he has 2 Emeritus Scolding. That'd be sick. Oh, and we're going to get some help from the Frostbite. Yeah, Frost Axe. This is just going to be a winning play over here because we're going to dump our whole hand. Storm Striders. A red one.
Either hell. Oh.
Anthony said, I don't care about not winning a single AGE Open. I'm going to win the whole gosh dang thing.
Wow. I was joking in that this would be short, but it was a pretty quick game we had there. All right. Well, Anthony Pham.
Let's go!
Let's go! SoCal won the
Yes.
AGE series. Arizona, Las Vegas, they all came for us, but
And
Anthony protected our pride and our dignity.
legitimately could not happen to a nicer dude. He's the guy who drives everyone in his Honda Carpool Pilot.
That's true.
He's the one who, he literally drums up support. He works at one of our local game stores. He makes sure he knows that there's going to be a case tournament on a Thursday. He makes sure, oh, do you need cards? I've got some extra ones. I think he got second at the Battle Hardened. So that was a thing where almost had greatness there on LL points for the rest of his life. But instead of having LL points, he's having local legend points. A different kind of LL.
Ooh.
And he's going to be the AGE round 1, or what is it? Inaugural.
Inaugural.
Oh, I got to sit up straight if you do that, Christine. Let me know.
2023
Jesus. We're tired
AGE
after
Players
You
Champion.
gotta let us know you're flipping the cam on.
Anthony Pham. Wow. Great. Great job there. I was hoping he'd pick up his trophy. Maybe we can get him to stand in the window. There he is. He's a god. He's a man. He's a god among men, and he's just so nice too.
We're going to get him on a camera talking
What if
to
we just
one of
talk
us.
about him while he stands
That'd
there
be
waiting?
cool.
You know, we're just so proud of Anthony. He did such a great job. He makes us all proud.
And finally, Icelander didn't win it. Oh, he was playing
Oh, yeah,
Icelander.
Icelander did
Icelander
win,
has won again. If you're not playing Icelander in Vegas, what are you doing, you idiots? It's the only deck that wins.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
No one else had that
Pay
thought.
Prism. All right, see you
More
in
on that in a
35
second.
seconds.
have to play Riptide.
Anthony, he won. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let me recap your year.
Yeah.
You got second early on in this, right? Or top 4?
Top 4 in January and February.
Both times.
Both times.
On Icelander.
On Iceland.
He was like, I like this hero. You did that during your Road to Nats, whatever we call those freaking tournaments, because they change names all the times. You were playing Icelander. You were doing really well. You kind of locked up a spot early. Then you were like, I'm going to diversify. You played some Ninja.
Yep. 5.
You played some Riptide.
I did play. I love Riptide.
Did you ever show up with Uzuri at all?
I showed up once, but not to an AG.
Okay. So is there any other heroes you played during AGE?
I honestly don't remember.
But
I just, yeah.
money's on the line. Oh my God. Money's on the line. I want to win $1,100 to pay for all the gas to come here from Orange County.
Oh, yeah, that's far drive.
I'm going to play Icelander. What was going through your mind when you chose Icelander?
It was mostly my team, the experience. They were all kind of ragging on Icelander, saying that it's a fluke. She has won so much. I don't know if she's the best deck, but the results show that she just wins over and over. I think she just has some unfair playstyles that kind of forced your opponent into bad spots. So I think the deck's still great.
We just forgot about Lexi. You played Lexi at an AGE.
Yeah.
You played
yeah.
Lexi at a Battle Harden.
The Battle Harden.
You got second at the
Yeah.
Battle Harden. You won today. How can you keep playing so many different heroes at a high level? Like, what is in your brain that isn't in mine?
Well, first of all, you're
In the average person.
no,
Don't
you're
flatter
fine,
me.
Blake.
This
You're
is
just,
about you.
You're
Yeah.
just trying out Prism right now, but I don't know. It's just I put a lot of practice into this game. I have a really great team. They practice a lot, and I think that we really help each other out just because we're all really good at the game, and we're all open to feedback all the time. I think that we can learn through our mistakes, and I think if we're not afraid to fail, I know it sounds generic as hell, but
Right.
if we're not afraid to fail, we learn in the practice session, we're prepared for tournaments.
Right.
Yeah.
So after your result at Battle Harden, your win today, when you walk into Vegas, you're doing calling, right?
I am doing calling.
So when people sit across from you, do you want them to be like, I'm excited to play, or do you want them to be nervous of like, I'm a player to beat. I've beaten I don't care about if you want to Battle Harden. I don't care if you want to calling 16 years ago, Tyler Horspool. I'm a person to beat here. Is that going through your head, or are you just like, no, part of the mystique is every time I sit down, I want to have fun?
Exactly. I think it's definitely more of the latter. I think that this game, like I said before in my previous interview, this game is super fun, and I think that I would rather someone sit across from me and have a good time and have a great game. Have a great game rather than them being afraid, like, oh, you've done so well in AG, whatever it is. I'd rather them be like, you're a great player. Let's both play a great game, because I think this game is so beautiful, and it's just like, I feel like if one person isn't having fun, it's very one-sided, and this game is not that.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm so proud of you. I think you're somebody that we both have played this game for like 2 years. You have gone the competitive route. We don't
okay,
talk
boy.
about me,
Okay.
but like
You're killing
I'm
numbers.
very proud of you.
Yeah.
Because I think you're somebody that it's really interesting to see what you do. I like that you zig, and when you are like, I'm going to go with the grain, I'm going to be the fastest salmon as we're spawning up the river, I'm going to go past the bear's mouth.
Okay, I'm understanding.
You're the
analogy.
fastest swimming salmon that gets where you need to go.
Exactly.
And it's very inspiring.
All right.
And I want to say thank you for being part of our community.
Mhm.
What inspires you?
I think just overall having fun. That's it. Like going to armories, playing at these tournaments, just having fun, enjoying your time. I love laughing, smiling. We're always doing fun stuff here at AGE. So really appreciate you guys, putting on such a great event. And it's
Right.
always so cool to come, because I feel like the weekend's coming. I get to hang out with everybody and play Flesh and Blood. It's
Right.
the best of both worlds.
And Monopoly Deal.
And Monopoly Deal, best game ever. $7 something on Amazon.
The only thing crazy different about today was our Swiss format.
Oh yeah.
I think it's worth talking about. You were somebody that locked up immediately.
Mhm.
You were one of the first 2 people to get that spot. The 2+ hours you had, the Chipotle showed up. You could relax a little bit.
Mhm.
Is that something where you're like, I'm fresh going into top 8, and maybe that helps out. Like, I don't forget a channel mount heroic flow counter. That's what happened. He forgot.
He did forget. Yeah.
I think people in chat were like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on?"
Yeah.
Is
That would've
Blake
changed the game for sure.
high? Oh my gosh, this is a moment where we're almost crying.
Okay.
So like, channel mount heroic was forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
The flow counter, that didn't happen to you. You're fresh because you had 2 hours off.
I wouldn't say it's because I got the 2 hour break. I think like today I just played really clean, and I really put it on myself for Icelander at least to like know be cognizant of my triggers, my channels, do the channel the right way. I played Icelander a lot, so like channel like fridges, like always flow counter, put ice card under, just like remember
Right.
for myself. So I think it's more of like I've played Icelander for so much, 2 hour breaker regardless or not. I think that it was just like kind of muscle memory for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you excited to rip off the SHIP and have it be
I'll get some
Open
white
Series Players Champion?
out. Yeah.
You don't need the ship anymore on your shirt.
No, I think I like the shirt as is, so I'll keep
Okay.
it. Yeah. This will be my.
Yeah, show off
this
the
Oh my God, it's the right way.
quad nines.
I'm gonna chug out of this at the Korean barbecue.
Oh
we
my
go
goodness. What kind of soju today?
after. I don't know. I'm driving.
So peach.
So peach. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Don't drink and drive.
Right.
guys, Yeah.
Overall, anything else you want to tell the 7,000 people watching right now?
Crazy Brew OP. Gambler's Gloves really OP. Try it out, guys. I won't tell you why I run it, but you can figure it out for yourself. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Although both times I played it today, it did not work. But
You won.
I won 6-0 with it in my deck. So yeah, happy.
6-0.
Yeah.
Oh, today was only 6 rounds. I was about to say you won 9 games. That is
No,
not
no,
today. at
I'd
all.
be
6-0. 6-0 to win $1,100.
Yeah.
$1,100. What are you gonna do with this 1,100?
Go to Disneyland. That's a lot of turkey legs.
Okay. Turkey legs are $18.
That's like at
So-
least 10.
maybe
A lot.
35 of them.
Something
I
like
don't
that.
know. Actually, it's not
Jeez.
35 of them.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. $1,100. Amazing. I'm excited to see what you do in Vegas.
Should be like
I'm going to be playing in the same calling, so
awesome.
hopefully we
we don't
match up
play
round
round
one.
one. Yeah.
you get to be the villain and wear sunglasses if you choose to
if
do
you play
so.
Prism, I lose round one.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm looking to lock you out, bro.
Yeah.
Other than that, we had a fun tournament today,
Oh yeah.
and I'm proud of you. And that's it for the interview. We'll come back in another minute and say goodbye to you for real, for real.
Later, guys.
Anthony.
Blake.
Anthony. Fam. welcome back. This is the Justin. He
everybody.
has set everything up, and he's got some stuff to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for watching and supporting the series throughout the year. Felt like just yesterday that we just started this.
Right.
You stepped into the booth.
It was January 4th, and it was, we're buying a whole bunch of stuff. We may get microphones on your ears, and I was like, absolutely not. And we may get green shirts, and it was like, I don't know, man. And now there's burgundy shirts. There's mics around our head. We have come so far.
But yeah, it was just great talking to all the players today, and also the players who didn't qualify, throughout the series. But it just felt like a really positive thing for SoCal, and it was, it's the reason why we run this tournament, I think, and it's, why we wake up early. We show up here, we cast, we bring all these great players, show these great games, and put in all the work. And
This is
I
sounding
think-
like that Nicole Kidman AMC thing of heartbreak. Feels great in a
But-
place like this when you see like Peter Budensic get put in a spin cycle.
that's also why I do it too.
Yeah, watching people. Oh, He was the first person in our Discord chat for all 16 people were invited and 2 alternates. It was the worst. Didn't need the alternates in there. Peter Budensic 3 days ago was like, I think I'm gonna win, and it got laugh reacted immediately. It was like, girl, bye. There's no shot.
Yeah, and I think with this whole series, it's been just a culmination of like to celebrate Fab, and talking to all the players today, it was just everyone was having a great time. There was not anyone who was just like bummed that they lost. They were just happy that people were doing well and advancing into the tournament and winning more prizes and seeing everyone's different levels of competition. We had players who were newer to the game, entrenched players who go and travel for all these events, and everyone just kind of came together to enjoy the game.
Right.
And I think AG is a really good representation of that. We saw that at Battle Harden. We had all these people come in and support the series, and it's just been great. From where we started in January.
Yes.
It seems
When
like forever ago.
February it rained for 15 hours, right when we were trying to triangulate how the lights work, and it was going in and out. And then what happened in March? What was fun about March, Christine? We already said 2 things. So what happened in March? March was pretty good. We had a battle harden in a convenience center or whatever they're called, convention center. We had some we had some good sandwiches at one of these battle AGE opens. I think one thing that I really enjoyed was like, why are people from other states coming on planes?
Mhm.
And like, I'm going across town and I'm like, oh, it's pretty early. I got to go all the way to Redondo Beach. But somebody got on a plane at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and somebody else got in a car with their brother, and Jake comes sometimes too, and maybe some other Arizona people, and then Taylor Morrow comes down for a battle harden. Like, all those people, shout outs to those people. San Diego people every single time are in a carload. Why they're not coming here for the money? Maybe they're coming here for some higher level competition. Like, I do think that's a level where, oh, I'm playing against the best people in my meta. That's not 3 times a year at skirmish battle harden and road to nats. Now we're doing it once a month, and I'm clearly going to get better at the game just by that, of learning a trick from somebody that lives. Evan's ruining the shot. Just get him out of there. It's Evan won a battle harden almost too. It's just something where somebody is getting up early and coming here, and like sometimes I don't go across town to Orange County, and people are traveling from forever ago because they want to be here and be part of this.
Yeah, and I think I can't take any of the credit for that. I think what it really comes down to is all the players. And the reason why people come down to our events is I think they just want to see everyone again.
Right.
Just play games with great people and meet new people and, play against people we don't normally play with. And, getting to have Fab be that bridge between a lot of people from all over the place, from the West Coast and beyond, I think is what makes this series special. And it's something I take away from it a lot of just like, I never get to play in them. And I always am jealous of just, seeing people just
Right.
get to sling cards all day.
I'm mad I don't get to play in 3-hour Dromai mirror matches like Travis did 4 times today. Yeah, I would love to play in this too. Like, being part of the jokes, being part of the community, it's fun. And what's crazy is I think at least 6 people today within earshot, they weren't asking me about it, but they were like, when does the next one start?
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was the
know if-
number one question today that I heard is when do we start again?
Right. I don't know if there's an announcement in the works or anything, but like I feel like whether it happens in January or like, oh, let's do instead of 8 months, let's just do 4 tournaments over 2 weeks in Thanksgiving when everyone's free or something like that's coming down the pipeline. I'm making stuff up because it's in Justin's head, not my head. But I'm fully aware that all the people behind us that are maybe, oh, I'm so sad this is our last. It feels like summer camp, and it's like, no, I'll be here next year for summer camp too.
Yeah, and that's the greatest compliment I've received today is just people asking me, like, they're in the tournament still playing, and they're like, when is the next one?
Right.
And I think,
Because they know there's 3 Icelanders later, and I'm not winning this one.
yeah, it's just been rewarding to run this series and put these tournaments on and let people, build confidence in themselves and show what they got and,
Right.
just be part of something like this. I think is just an honor from my side.
And then get buzzsawed, R.I.P. Bozo,
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor, too, to be a part of, like, I think I've loved being the first person to say hello in the morning and then also close it out of, this is the end game where someone's going to win. $400 isn't not life-changing. Like, I'd love $400. Like, oh, Craig paid off a car or something the first 2 months of this tournament. That was the
Yeah.
joke. And someone just won $1,100. Like, that's great. Like, being a part of, like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but it's like the community and also like we some of us do this for work. Like, we put people on game shows, and you're like, I'm so happy I got to change their life. I'm so happy I got to change 55 people's Saturdays 8 times this year.
Yeah.
Of like the girlfriends of the people in San Diego are like, yes, go to LA. I'm gonna do a girls' day and we're gonna get our nails done.
That's very
Yeah,
relatable.
go play cards. Who cares? I just want to go get the fillers in or whatever. And you're like, okay, great. The people in Arizona got to get out of that hellhole or whatever. Shout outs to Arizona. No, I'm always there for my grandma, but
But yeah, I think-
you change people's Saturdays, and that a Saturday is 1/7 of the week and 1/7 of your life. So by changing people's Saturdays, you're almost changing people's lives.
and I think what a lot of people don't see is, as watchers or maybe even participating, is that all the people who make this thing work. We have, my wife Christine who runs our broadcast and does everything for AGE, and we have all the casters, we have all the judges, all the people behind the scenes of AGE, and it's just a lot of work, but we do it because we love the game. And
The fudge makers.
yeah, we got Chris Stidger who gave all the players chocolates and made them from scratch. I think it's a testament to the
How many
SoCal
I
community.
ate today too. Great job, Chris. Yeah, I think it's something where a village.
And it all comes down to we all love Flesh and Blood in our own ways, and I think we all contribute to it. And for me, this is my contribution to Flesh and Blood is running these tournaments and, giving money away to players out of our bank account.
Great. If there's not if Hollywood's not completely broken next year, maybe we could get a screenplay written and have who could play Anthony Pham? Oh my God! I knew you were gonna say that. We cannot say what Christine said because it's literally the only dude that you can say, and it's just like, come on,
may
he
not-
doesn't do anything. He's not the same at all.
He may or may not have been in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, he may have been Barbie number 4. Did you see Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I'm trying to get to that. I've been planning these AG Opens.
Yes, relax, Justin. Don't practice draft anymore. You're gonna get a Luminaris Pack 1.
But yeah, and I guess as sign off, we're gonna be in Vegas, so come and say hi. We have AG shirts on. If anyone wants to chat with us, we're happy to meet everyone from the community. We feel like on the West Coast we're our own little village, but
Right.
I want to reach out and meet everybody in Flesh and Blood. And I'm typically behind the scenes. Like I usually try not to get on camera or do stuff.
But you're gonna be on the scenes holding up that trophy after 12 rounds of Dromai. Or maybe you're not playing Dromai. We don't know. We don't want to give your tech away or whatever, but
playing John Wayne.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's not like we're famous. It's just more of like, I'll see you in
yourself.
Vegas.
But yeah, and
Come talk to Aiden and or what's his name, Sam. 3 floaters.
but I would like to thank you, Blake.
Sheesh.
Been here from the very beginning, commentating over everything.
Yeah.
Your passion for the game is just infectious to me, and we rant, and we all love the game in different ways,
Right.
and it shows. And
Which is why I'm about to do a barraging Blake right now on live and improvise or whatever. We weren't angry today because it was a culmination of happiness about the game.
and it's not anger; it's focused love.
Right. I'm gonna tell that to every ex-husband I have one day. I promise. I was never angry at you. You just missed my focused love in the wrong way.
But yeah, I just can't thank anyone enough for supporting us and coming out. So yeah, come say hi in Vegas. We'll be there.
This is where we do the and Venmo.com/ we're gonna have a charity auction where you can get cards signed by all 16 of our players. How many red shirts are there? Those are exclusive?
Tons. We'll give them out to
Or
the players.
tons. Buy them in Vegas. The players championship shirts, those are exclusive. So if you want to buy a T-shirt off of somebody's back, $200. We'll do it. We'll get you the signs. We won't wash them. It'll have game worn sweat today.
You too could be Alex for.
Yeah, I do not want that. I'm excited for future. I'm happy with what we did today. If you're still watching this, thank you for being with us till the very end, and we're happy with you. Let's do one more. Do we have the Collector Legion thing? We're at Collector Legion. They've been great.
They've been great as a partner, and just
I'm so glad we
supporting the
came
Flesh and Blood
over
community
here.
here. And Adam's been great. All the
Adam
people who
gave
work.
us discounts on cards today.
Yeah, and all the people who
So
work at Collector
nice.
Legion, they had them all up on the screens and watching behind there. And it's just been a great home for AGE for the last half of the season, and definitely go and support them.
Hell yeah. There's that. Capolo, thank you for being with us to the very end. Everyone that's ever been in chat during this, it's always fun to see who shows up at these. Love you muchly. See you never, or see you next time. As we go. Love you.